All right, welcome everyone to the crypto show and my co-host Color and Shake Money. Uh, the title of this show is called Playoff Jigsaw.
Oh yeah,
So this is what we're facing going into Week 10
oh yeah.
because we got a lot of stuff happened yesterday in Sunday's game. Our Miami Dolphins had the night off or the evening off or the day off and a lot of football was played, and there was a lot of mumbo jumbo that was created in yesterday's results that caused the playoff jigsaw to happen. A lot of movement happened in the bottom part of the standings as far as the seedings. We had one team replaced and one team put out as the outside looking in, and that was in that Cincinnati Houston game. And before we get started, I said at the beginning of the season that there will be at least three or four brand new playoff teams in total in the league. Every year it happens. You have a brand new set of playoff teams happen. And lo and behold, I actually picked Houston to be one of those brand new playoff teams to be as a part of the new representation of the playoff teams that will participate in this year's playoffs. After week 10, they have now climbed to the 7th seed. So as of right now, my early preseason prediction for the Houston Texans is on par and on schedule.
Yeah, yeah.
So that's what happened yesterday in this playoff jigsaw that's happening right before your eyes.
Hey, before we do get to continue, can we let's can we do a little housekeeping?
Sure, go ahead.
Okay. All right, cool.
New seasons, new gear. Show the world what it means to be a fan in 100% authentic gear. Fanatics, officially licensed everything.
Get ready to dive into a new world of online shopping with the Fins Tailgate. Whether you're a die-hard sports fan or just looking for the latest fashion trends, we've got you covered. With a wide variety of products from your favorite sports teams to stylish accessories and home decor, we're your one-stop shop for all things tailgate. Our easy-to-use website and hassle-free checkout process make shopping with us a breeze. Plus, with frequent sales and discounts, you won't want to shop anywhere else. So come on in and join the party at the Fins Tailgate, your new go-to destination for all things tailgate.
Hey, and don't forget the fine folks at Backrooms Collections. We have artwork, visors for your mini helmets. They do shirts, cups, and it's not just exclusive to football. They do basketball, baseball. So it's like a real one-stop shop, family-owned, great people. And we have Dubby energy drink, off focus, great focus, pour a cup into a water, natural ingredients, coffee extracts. You're not going to get any of those jitters like you do in this other, which you don't know what you put in it. This is water.
You won't get Jeepers Creepers?
No Jeepers Creepers, and you won't. It won't let you stay up for our show Insomnia. So, with that being said, we have the El Capitan will be on tonight for our second, for the Fins Tailgate 2nd year anniversary. It's coming on tonight at 9:30. Y'all make sure y'all be there. You got Color and Ali doing Top of the Tailgate. You got myself and Lewis with the host of this man right here, Crypto. We're doing Drive Times and Smoke Lounges. You got Talk TMI Tuesday that's coming on tomorrow. You got KP doing his thing Saturday mornings with the fantasy football. I will be calling the Gators versus Mizzou game at 7:30. And don't forget this Thursday at 3 o'clock in the morning, Friday at 3 o'clock in the morning, we're going to have a special guest for Insomnia. And, of course, tonight, the man, the myth, the legend, Crypto, who never forgets, is here hosting the Jigsaw, the playoff Jigsaw. So, with no further ado, Crypto, floor is yours. Thank you for allowing me to do a little housekeeping. Thank you.
I appreciate it, Shake Bunny. Appreciate it. Thanks for the rundown and
Yeah.
everything. Speaking of no crash, no jitters. Hey, if you guys buy one of those Soda Stream devices to make your own soda, they are good, but do not do what I just did today. I poured some pineapple juice inside of it and tried to carbonate it.
Ugh.
So it was
How'd it
not.
come?
It tastes good, but you have to put a certain amount in it. The
Mm.
best thing to do is first carbonate water because it won't have that back feed, put that much pressure,
Yeah, for sure.
and then add the juice to it later
Mm.
afterwards. So first carbonate the water first. Don't carbonate the pure juice, so it's going to make a big mess. So learn that from the lesson that I did today when I tried to carbonate some pineapple juice. So it tastes good though. It tastes pretty good. I was going to do the grapefruit juice because
Hmm.
they have a little fizz to it. So I was going to pour a little grapefruit juice, a ruby red, add a little drop, a little capful, and just add some water. This time I'll just add the capful of grapefruit juice or any other juice and then carbonate it, put it in the machine, press the button, you're good to go.
Oh
So,
yeah.
little lesson since we were talking about Steak was doing the rundown on the doobie drinks.
W.
And
Yeah, yeah.
I figure I'll add that little nugget in there about carbonated beverages, you know, or something like that. But
So
it's all good. But yeah, it's a nice little device. Saves a ton of money on freaking
yeah, man.
can waste and all that other stuff. You can just make your own sodas.
By
Not
the way,
bad.
tonight is the 2-year anniversary for the Finns tailgate. So
Happy
it's,
anniversary.
yeah, it's
It's
coming on live
TFTG.
tonight. Live tonight at 9:30.
Cool. Good deal. Good deal. Welcome everybody in the chat. Dolphin Thirsty, John
Dolphin.
Featherland, Woolish Shock.
2
Welcome.
years, new YouTube still treating us like noobs.
Still treating us like noobs. Aquavision, welcome. Josh is the next Cleo Lemon. And let's see. He's in the building. Or Ray
Uh,
Lucas, my bad. Josh is the next Ray Lucas. Welcome, Fred, Mudbone, and our
yeah, man.
special man, Duke Tomlinson, the latest in men's wear, Duke Tomlinson. Make
Hey,
sure
by
you
the
go out and
way,
get your Duke Tomlinson, fellas.
I got this Kentucky fire cured cigar that I will be smoking on for tonight's occasion.
Did you cut it?
No, it came like this. It's a little tobacco. Just
So you don't have to clip it?
I have to clip the top of it so I could inhale. But yeah, this is for a nice. This is a nice occasion. So
For some reason, I see the people that smoke cigars, they clip both ends.
well, one end is already clipped. That's the light you end, and the other end, the light you inhale, you have to clip it. If not, you're not going to be able to smoke it.
It doesn't have like a thin paper layer that
No,
you don't have to
you
use to
got to
clip it.
make a hole in. You got to make a hole in the back end. If not, you can't smoke
Ah,
it.
oh, okay. So it doesn't have it. Okay. For some reason, I thought it was something on the back that
Hmm.
allow you to filter in
No,
what's coming through on the front end. Oh, okay. Cool.
yeah,
Learn something
you
new
got to
every
clip
day.
it. Yeah, you got to clip it. Some people I like the big hole so you get more smoke out of it. Some people like little holes. It depends. It's on everybody. The hole on it. It's everyone's preference. So
Hmm.
mhm.
Okay.
Yeah, I
It's n-
like at least an inch and a half for my hole.
oh,
Yeah, you gotta
oh,
clip it.
okay.
I mean,
Interesting.
I'll go with like
I'm
an inch,
asking
but
smokers on the nuances of smoking, even though I won't be smoking anytime soon. I'm always like to know just in case somebody asks me for advice. I may not smoke, but hey,
but
I'll give you some
well, you
advice.
never know, crypto. You might hit 65 and be like, well, what the hell's left now? Might as well do it all, you know.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Then
that's
you'll
true.
already know.
It
You'll
would
already
be.
be in the know. You won't,
I,
you'll be
I,
streetwise to everything already.
yep, that's true. Yeah, you'd be like, oh, I got all the knowledge that I
Makes you
Got me
wonder
for the
though, like
last 40 years.
if somebody gets up to like 85 years old, like, do you
Mhm.
start like doing things you wouldn't normally do? Like, who
Well,
cares at that
I
point? You know
mean,
what I mean? Like,
then you're
smoke
fulfilling
all
your
the hard
bucket list at
drugs you
that
want
point.
at that point, right?
Yeah,
yeah.
you're fulfilling your bucket list basically at that age.
Well, I noticed when I smoke cigars though, it kind of mellows me out a little bit. So
Mhm.
that's why I do it.
Yeah, it makes you mellow.
Hell yeah.
Or like, well, let's
Okay.
let's talk about something lighter. Weed. Like, for anybody holding out on the MJ, when you're
Mhm.
85, what do you got to lose at that point? You ain't gonna destroy your lungs there. I mean, you're done already.
You
Like,
already
start
pretty
smoking.
much done lived your years, right? Might as well.
Uh,
You might as
At
well.
least
Unless
enjoy
you're
your
pushing to
at
get
least
to 100,
right. At
Well, at
least make
100, I'm
yourself
doing
feel
everything
good
at
on
that
the way
point.
out. You know what I mean? Because
If I was to make it to that age, oh, you better believe it. I'm doing every
telling
Yeah.
you.
daredevil act, every insane act you can imagine. I'm
I mean,
jumping out of
I'd
planes. I'm
hate to be an
bungee jumping.
alcoholic, bro,
I'm doing
because
everything
I mean,
at that point.
I'd hate to be an alcoholic because I would hate to wake up every morning knowing that was the best I was going to feel all day.
all I know is I can't smoke weed unless because I can't I'm one of those workaholic. If I smoke weed, I gotta do dishes, I gotta cut grass, I gotta do something.
Mm,
I'm not
yeah.
a I don't I'm not a
You-
I don't enjoy it
you,
recreational anymore like I used to.
you've been getting on that sativa too much. That's why, man. You got to try some of that indica, man.
No,
Put you right out.
yeah. Yeah, trust me, I tried every kind of and I get the same. I
Here
need to
comes
do
Von
something.
Joe. Look at
What's
Von
going
Joe
on?
in the chat. Look at what Von Joe just said. This is what Von Joe mine is in the gutter. Hey, listen, what's going on?
I
A
knew
little
it was
big
coming too,
coat.
Crypto.
Big codes in the back end, 2 inch still a Dolphins fan channel. Crypto is shake, no pause or anything. Just a roll with
Mhm.
it. Wow.
He
We
was.
talking
I
about
knew
cigars,
somebody.
Von
As
Joe.
soon
Look
as
at
I
this.
talked about an inch and a half hole, I knew somebody like Von Joe was going to come up and hold us to it, man.
Right. Von Joe man is stuck in the gutter, man. Look at this.
Hey man,
We're talking about Cuban cigars, man. They trying to educate me on the ins and outs and nuances of huffing and puffing.
Look,
hey, listen,
even
whatever
Luis
you.
is wondering. He's like, "What the hell did I walk in on?"
God.
But so yeah, go ahead.
No, Louis.
Let's talk about the playoff jigsaw puzzle.
We're not talking about Cuban sandwiches, Louis. No more Cuban sandwiches. God damn it.
Wow.
Oh man. No. I had this thing because yesterday, man, we went to we had our results starting on Thursday, right?
Mm-hmm.
We had the Panthers, Bears, no nothing as far as AFC playoff uh things go. So that was kind of like, okay, who cares game. Then we got kicked off at 9 o'clock in the morning yesterday. I mean, well, Sunday. Well, damn, yesterday, right? Colts, Patriots. So the last team in our division played in overseas. So our division is 0-4 in international games this year. Way to go, New England, to round it off by giving us a donut for overseas play. So they lost 10-6. Then we got the Browns and Ravens yesterday. 33-31. Hell of a comeback. I thought they
Yeah,
was dead to rights after that fumble muff punt. But
Deshaun Watson looking better and better, man.
yeah,
So,
he is.
Crypto,
He
would
actually
you
looks
call
pretty
that a
good.
collapse on the Ravens' defense, or would?
That will be the Ravens reverting to form because that was the third game they lost by double-digit fourth quarter
Oh, I'm
this
just
year.
thinking,
They did it last
Crypto.
year.
I'm just thinking based on what happened last year. I just put the thought out there on Twitter yesterday that, hey, no big deal. Every good quarterback needs a Ravens collapse.
Yeah, right. They do.
Oh man,
Hey,
Yeah,
I
the
got
every
irony
good
of it. The
quarterback needs.
irony of it, Crypto. You know what I mean?
Right, exactly. Because you figure now Deshaun got his. Now is that
Right. Nobody's
Tua and
talking
Josh
about the
Allen got
Ravens
theirs.
collapsing for Deshaun. They were only talking about collapsing for Tua, right?
Mhm.
Now it's
Yeah.
Deshaun perpetrating the comeback. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I love it.
yeah. They don't
Yeah.
give them the
Well,
same.
but
They don't
see,
give the same difference. That's what you're
Because
saying.
you know, how can we be frauds if they do that, Shake? You know,
no,
Mhm.
I
we
don't
don't
think
fit
they
the
was.
narrative if they start talking reality like
I,
that. You
I
know,
don't think they'll say it. The truthful, unobjective way is to say the Ravens reverted to form because that's the sixth time in the last 2 seasons that they had a fourth quarter collapse of double-digit leads. It's not just to one individual. That's the 6th time for that team
Yeah, and in
that they've
72,
blown
I'm not
double-digit leads.
gaslighting. I'm talking to the man himself that said it was a out of body experience, that it was a Ravens defensive collapse. I'm speaking to the
No,
man himself right now who said that. So it ain't gaslighting nobody.
no, I didn't necessarily say it was a Ravens collapse. It was more like a
No,
head
no, you were
coaching not
mindful.
kicking 6 field
You were
goals.
fair to remind everybody
Mhm.
that it could very well have that to do with it in the
So
bad coaching calls by Harbaugh that day.
For the
You were fair to
loss.
point all that out. So I'm not gaslighting anybody.
I have a
I'm
question.
revisiting a
Yeah.
debate.
See this?
Yeah, and I was trying
There's
to
a
point out throughout the Ravens last year that it was habitual with them blowing big
Right,
leads to
right,
a lot of
right,
teams. So we
right,
did nothing special. They did it again. Other teams did it to them as well.
right,
We're
right.
not the only ones to
is
do it
this
to the
gaslighting right here? See, look, the lighter.
Ravens.
Go get a bottle of hairspray and you
Get some
might
hot
have
spray.
gaslighting.
Right.
Hey,
Get some hairspray.
hey, but
Or just
I gotta take care of a few things. I'll be back, but I'll be in the I'll be listening. If you need anything, crypto, just let me know. I'll be in
all
the
right,
back.
cool. I
All right.
appreciate it. Thanks. Oh, I appreciate it, Fred. But no, I was just doing a deep dive on the Ravens collapsing yet again, and that won't be the last. And by the way, Kenny Pickett did it to them as well last year. This year, so um, it's just more so Harbaugh needs to get his act together when it comes to closing out games.
Yeah, no doubt. Well,
You
you
know,
see
they,
what they started. You see
you know,
what happened yesterday, right? They were still
you know,
passing the ball up 2 scores, bro.
yeah, and then
Same thing
decided
they
to go for it on
perpetrated on
4th
us when they
down.
beat us 59-10. There's 2 minutes left, and they're up by 52-10, and they're still passing the ball and calling timeouts. That's why you don't do that.
Yeah, and
You know?
and the fact that yet again Justin Tucker gets benched in the crucial moment when they went for it on 4th down, and then the Cleveland bailed them out with a penalty,
Mm-hmm.
2 straight penalties, and then they finally decided to go ahead and kick it. You know, but I'm like, oh man, he should have been did it earlier to put more pressure on them to force them to call timeouts. I mean, it's just situational situations,
Mm-hmm.
you know, that they missed the opportunity. That's what's causing all these late fourth quarter collapses. You know, not putting the game away with the running backs and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
He did had a pretty good game. He broke off a big one, but you just gotta you can't lose blow 14-point leads. This becoming almost a norm for them now, where a lot of teams are going to be feeling confident, even trailing big to them. You got, let me see, the Steelers played a close game yesterday. A lot of close wire down to the wire games yesterday, fellas. The Steelers, hang on here. Let me go back. The 49ers that was a blowout. That was nothing. We have the Packers Steelers. I said that 23-19. Saints and Vikings. Your boy Mr. Zero Eyebrows. He pulled out another one. You know, he's telling everybody Kirk Cousins is an afterthought. And then Justin Jefferson they had on this long winning streak. He was been sitting out, so now they're gonna make a run after he come back. Buccaneers Titans, that was a blowout. And Cardinals Falcons. Kyler Murray made his debut yesterday. Pulled out a win against the Falcons. Got them their second victory of the year. Meanwhile, putting a loss on the Falcons, making their chances of any division a little hurt. And the annual, I guess I could say biannual wipeout of the Cowboys versus Giants. This time they put up 49 burger on them. Giants managed to put up 17 yesterday. So that's a That's a big accomplishment. They go from 0 to 17 points. That's pretty big, given that they still gave up 40 plus. So they was outscored almost what 90? Yeah, they was outscored 90 to 17 in the two matchups against the Cowboys. Way to go, Brian Dable. Way to go. Spot on for
Yeah,
your
they're lucky they don't have
excellent
to face them in
performances
the
against the
playoffs.
Cowboys. Right. Spot on. Spot on, Brian Dable. Oh my God. 90 to 17 and the two matchups this year against them. Oh man. The Seahawks and Commanders. That was a pretty entertaining
Well, because
game,
if
y'all
the
fellas. I
Giants
liked it that game.
if the Giants' record wasn't as bad as it is, and they ended up making it into the playoffs, that's the last team Dallas would want to face.
Right, because that third win, beating the team 3 times in the same calendar year, is
Especially
virtually
with
impossible.
such a scoring disparity in those two regular season games too. Much
Right,
like
because
we
that's what the
saw with the
Saints did.
49ers and the Rams a couple years back,
And the Saints and Buccaneers. The Buccaneers beat the crap out of them 2 times in the regular
Mm-hmm.
season, and then they lost to them in the playoffs and the divisionals. It's just hard beating that team 3 times in a row. Soul Color. If we were to play the Bills, do we intentionally throw the game in the last game of the season? If we play them in the playoffs. So we could have that odds in our favor.
I know, right?
You know.
Except what if
So
we're faced with we lose and they're in and we don't have to play them, but we beat them
right.
and they're out?
Oh, you said if we don't have to play them if we lose?
Yeah, like if let's say if we were to
Yeah.
lose to them, they'd make it in but wouldn't play us. Or
Right.
if we beat them, they're just out altogether.
Yeah, they just
Like,
wouldn't play us
what would
right
be
away.
better? You know what I mean?
Yeah, because if we risk them playing us late in the season. So let me give you this thing now. We're slotted at the 4th seed. We
Right.
will play Pittsburgh if the season ended. If we had a COVID-like event, now I'm not wishing this to happen, and they ended the season, they say we have to start the playoffs and go in a bubble and play, right? Kind of like the NBA did. So it did happen before, where they ended the season abruptly and then just made them go to a bubble and play playoffs. If we started the playoffs today, we will be playing the Steelers at Hard Rock. Well, actually, it'd be
Yep.
a bubble facility. It wouldn't be no home field to nobody. It's just
Well,
we'll be
maybe
seated
not
at the
because
4 or 5.
Florida allows sporting events during those times.
Right, right, because it was in Orlando. The bubble was in Orlando with
Yeah.
No,
the
for
NBA.
the NBA, but there was
Yeah.
no bubble for the
Yeah.
NFL.
WWF
Right.
was here. WWF was here. Almost every sporting event was here in Florida. Hockey
Yeah.
had the playoff here. So, by the
Right.
way, look, check this out. Look what I got: banana pudding moonshine.
Oh God, man,
Mm.
banana pudding moonshine.
Yeah.
I don't know.
So
And what
did
kind
they
of
make it
texture
out
does
of
it have?
bananas as well?
That's what I'm saying. What kind of texture is it?
Like, is it banana
Uh,
whiskey?
I don't know, Cap for Life, which Russell Wilson. We're going to get to that game because we got a lot of games we covering. We're just doing a rundown of all the stuff that happened yesterday in this playoff jigsaw that's been created in the last 24 hours for
Oh yeah.
our Miami Dolphins.
Oh,
Now, we'll get to it, Cap. Where was we at? We were at the
Miami's the
Titans.
4th seed.
They're at 4. Now they're 2 games back of the division lead because Jacksonville lost. This is what was so crucial yesterday, with Jacksonville losing and the Texans winning. 1 game difference between those two. So mathematically, the Texans could win the division because they're in 2nd place and they hold the tiebreaker over because they beat Jacksonville. So one of those wins were against Jacksonville. So this kind of like us in Buffalo, even though we have a 1 game lead on them in the win column, same thing for Jacksonville. Talk about how Mike McDaniel got 2 wins against teams with winning records in almost 10 years.
2
In
years,
almost
like-
2 years. Wait a minute, repeat that again. He said 2 wins against teams with winning records in almost 2 years. We're gonna get to it, Lewis. That's what's causing this jigsaw that we're in right now. Yeah, we're gonna get to it. That's part of it.
Well, here's the
But,
thing: how can they count the Chargers as a team with Louis' record at the time? We're both 0-0.
That's what
No,
I'm
it's
saying.
not.
Who's doing
No,
the
it's not.
counting and which games are they not including, considering we beat 3 playoff teams to start the season last year? And I'm sure one of them was under 500 at the time we beat them. I mean,
No, in almost 2 years. No, what he's trying to say that we have gotten it in almost 2 years. Those 2 wins, he's counting the Ravens last year.
right. But what about the Bills last year?
That's one of them.
Those were the 2.
And what about the Patriots that we opened up the season with, and they were 0-0? Is that fair to not count them? They were a playoff team coming to that game.
No, because their records haven't tallied for winning and losses.
No, but I'm saying, why are we just not like those are still
as far
good
as
wins.
Statistically? They won't count them because they became a team that was.
I understand what you're saying, Crypto. What I'm saying is, why are we bothering tallying how many wins Mike McDaniel got in 2 years against teams above 500 when, 8 of those games were played in the beginning of the season when it's likely a good team was under 500 that we beat?
But see, because we don't control
thing to say.
And by the way, this is the one thing I hate when people say, 412 days since we beat a team. Well, look, at the end of the day, there's 365 days in between. There's like 200 or 300 days in between when we play football. So you can't count 200 of those days. You know what I mean? We can't do nothing about those 200 days between that.
Yeah, what are we supposed to do? Hold an exhibition event?
I mean, yeah. So technically, you could subtract the very last day that we were eliminated from the
let's go by season days
till now.
How about that?
Until
how about active regular season and postseason days? How about tallying those?
Yeah, they want to.
All you have to do is go from September 1st this year, whenever game 1 is, and subtract those days till the Buffalo game, playoff game last year, and then that will be the accurate tally. You just subtract those days, and it'll be like 200 something days, because you counted the Buffalo win in September in the counting in the January 8th of this year, and then you retally the days starting in September of this year. That will be the accurate way to do it.
And by the way, Cap, I didn't shoot the messenger. I didn't say Cap for Life was an idiot. I just said this narrative. I shot down the narrative. So you're good.
Don't shoot the messenger, but the message is a lie. That's what we're trying to say. We're not trying to shoot the messenger.
No. I never said anything bad about Cap for Life, and I never will.
No.
So
I get it, but I'm saying that everybody, besides not talking to Cap for Life, but everybody that says don't shoot the messenger. When nobody's shooting the messenger, but it's still fair to say that the message that the king wrote is wrong.
Well, it will only be accurate in the way I just depicted it. You start the tally after January 8th and then connect that date to now and leave out all those days in between, because you have to do regular season games, what you have to do, because January 8th was our last game and that was a playoff game. In September this year was our first regular season game. So you can't, like Shake Money said, you can't count those days in between because there's no football. You have to count the actual football playing days. That's the only day you can do it.
What's good, fellas?
What's going on, man?
What's good?
Hey, what's going on? What's going on, Lou? What's happening?
The reason I posed the question, because I heard that stat or I seen it somewhere and it kind of shocking. And then we talked about it a little bit today and we went through it. So let's cut out all the confusion. Because I heard Color say we beat 3 playoff teams from last year, and I would agree with that. But when we played New England week 1, and again, this is just so we can do the exercise, 0-0, take about what they did last year. I'm just talking about specifically when they played Miami. So like the Chargers this year, for instance, it's a big win for us. I'm glad that Mike McDaniel came over and, they got the job done. Him, Tua, the team in general, they overcame. But they were 0-0. Okay. So don't count those. Or
I get that, but if you don't count those, then it supports the narrative. We can't beat any. That's precisely what they're trying to do, Lewis.
No, it doesn't mean we can't beat anybody. It just means we haven't done anything in that stretch.
Again, I'm not trying to do nothing. I'm talking about line up on Sunday when, again, going into the matchup, a team is over 500.
That's what I'm trying to say, bro.
That's how you count that stat.
First game of the season, nobody can be over 500.
Okay, but it doesn't matter, Color. The fact of the matter is, see, this is where I think
you're not. I think what I'm saying is getting lost. What I'm saying is, by them saying McDaniel hasn't defeated an above 500 team more than twice in 2 seasons, what they're trying to paint the picture is that we can't beat teams over 500.
But it's the
And
truth.
what I'm saying is
they're
that
not trying to
takes
paint
away
it.
from the teams that we know were 500 level teams when we beat them. And there was not
They
enough
would have
games
to be that.
season
Yes.
for anybody to be under 500 or over 500. It's just not
Well,
fair to leave those out.
Well, now it is
Well,
because we played 10 games.
But it is. Yeah,
Both
we're
teams have
just
played
talking
more than
about
10
it.
games already.
We're just talking
So
about
when we beat Buffalo last year, so is that the last winning team we beat?
Yes, because Buffalo was 3-0, I think, at the time when we beat them,
They
right?
were 2 and no, I believe they were
2-1
and 2-0.
2-1,
No,
okay.
no,
I thought they was tied with us.
I just pulled it up. They were 2-1.
We played this year.
What's up, Chef Jew?
Hey, what's up, Chef?
Right, I understand, Lewis, but what the statement was that McDaniel has only beaten 2 above 500 teams in 2 seasons, and that's not
mathematically that would be correct.
Yes, it
mathematically
is.
It's correct.
If someone would just, if everybody would just let someone talk. The fact of the matter is, when we played Baltimore last year, they were 1-0. That was an above 500 football team. We ended up winning. There's your one. The following week last year, when we played Buffalo, they were 2-0. We were 2-0. We gave them an L. That's your second win. After that, a team with a winning record. Mike McDaniel has no other wins. This team has no other wins. I don't care how y'all want to paint it or whatever. The fact of the matter is, after the Buffalo game last year,
I understand that. I'm not trying to dispute that fact, that objective fact. What I'm saying is, somebody pointing out that fact has an agenda to make it look different than it is. We can't tally the games in the first game of the season at 0-0. We can't say whether that was a 500 team or not. They hadn't even had a chance to play yet.
Right, but they played enough games
But it was a returning playoff team that we opened the season with, and we beat them.
Right, but their record was
hold on, wait a minute. I would submit to you that when the Patriots came into Hard Rock, they were a 9-8 team. That was their last record.
Mm-hmm.
Now, that was their last record of the previous year.
But that's their existing record coming into the season.
Yeah, and I'll say
but if they lose to us and then win the next 15, it don't matter, or vice versa. They can lose the next 15.
It's disingenuous, and I see right through what they're trying to do by saying that shit.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, look, last year, hold on, when we started the season, right? Everybody was like, "Oh, we got the second hardest team." Now all of a sudden we have the second easiest.
Right, pointing that out, Shake. Right, because it don't matter until the games are already played at the time.
Yeah, exactly. That's why I've always said the strength of schedule. I've always said it. It's bullshit.
All I know is it took us 36 points.
And
it
I
took
believe
us 36 points to beat a team that it took the awesome Detroit Lions to take.
But
it
no
took
one's
them
arguing
41
that
to beat.
color. But no one's
it took them
arguing that
41,
color.
but they gave up. They also gave up 38 points.
No one's arguing
I'm not saying nobody's arguing it, Lewis. Nobody is pointing out the fact because of the same agenda.
But there is no agenda. This is what I tried to tell you.
Then why was it even brought up?
Because I think it's factual. Because, again, what we're doing
I'm not asking why you brought it up. I'm talking about why was the exercise even done?
Because of the simple fact, and if we're going to be honest, and this is what we do on this channel, is call out the hypocrisy. See, when we didn't give that deference to Brian Flores, we just heard that Brian Flores couldn't overcome the big games. He was a bad coach in big games. He couldn't win against all these good teams. Well, Mike McDaniel in his first year last year and half of this year, he's 2-7 or 2-8.
Bro, I could have illustrated that just by saying that after his first year, he had a lesser winning percentage than Flores. I don't have to go through all the other exercises.
But but that's your opinion. That's the way you would say.
It's a fact. His winning percentage was 500 last year. Flores was above 500 when he left.
That's fine. And that's fine. What I'm saying is he has 2 wins against teams over 500. I think we're trying to we're making it seem like there's an agenda here. There's no agenda. The fact is I'm tired of this coach getting all these damn passes, and we blame all these damn players and all this shit.
But you understand where I'm coming from. I agree with you there, Lewis. Where I'm coming from is I'm tired of the we can't beat good teams bullshit.
Yep.
But it's not bullshit. It's
It
not
is bullshit.
Though. It's not. It's not. No, it's not.
It is.
What's
I
a
agree.
good team?
It's not.
What's a
It
good
is.
team? Are we going to change that to elite? When I prove to you we've beaten a good team, are we going to change the verbiage to elite like we do every single time?
Elite team. Ain't
Well,
nobody
point in case. Hold on. Case
Are we going
Case
to change it to elite
I don't think
team
nobody
on the
really
road?
elite at this
Is
point.
that what we're going to change it to?
Wrong.
Elite
But-
team
but-
on the road?
But
Case in point.
No
Hold
one's
on.
saying
not
that.
too many
I'm
elite
not.
teams.
No one has said that.
Hold on. Case in point.
What I'm saying
Cincinnati.
is every time
Hold
I
on.
give an example of a good team
Right.
we beat, the goalpost gets moved to an elite team. Then it's an elite team on the road. Then it's
No one said
whatever
No,
else.
don't send them out on the road.
No one said elite.
We already
team.
know
No
the
one
difference
said
between the road and
No,
and
and we're gonna be
home.
honest, Color. No one said elite. No one said road except you. I said
What are you
teams
talking
over
about,
500.
bro? I sat there and
Color,
listened
you just,
all for the last 2 weeks, man. The same argument over and over again.
Color,
It starts with
Hold
we
on.
can't beat a good team. Then when somebody proves we can, it moves to an elite team. Then it's an elite team on the road.
Again, I didn't say I'm not. I don't worry about what the national media says. I'm
I'm
not worried
not talking
what
about the
anybody else-
national media. I'm talking about the circles that you and I both roll in.
And what in the circles I'm in now, I see three other gentlemen up here with me. I'm just trying to have the conversation. That the
I
facts
don't know why
are.
you think I'm coming at you, bro.
A cap for
But
life.
I didn't say you were coming at me. Jesus Christ. No one could talk here, Color. No one's saying that. I didn't say you're coming at me. I'm just saying, bro, that at the end of the day, against winning records, take a lead out, take road out, take all that stuff that was mentioned. Teams that are over
Take out
500.
the sunshine too, then. Take out the moonshine.
But what are we talking?
I mean, really,
but Color,
bro.
But Color,
Make it a Tuesday at 2:30 in the afternoon.
Mm-hmm. We're just
we
talking
can
about
do this all night, bro.
we're just talking about teams with a winning record,
I
meaning
understand
that one
that.
game above. That's
And
all
I
we're
just
talking
don't
about.
understand the point of bringing it up, of anybody even doing that exercise. What's the point? What is the message that it's supposed to send people?
Is no message. Just means that we got to get it done. That's the only message that could be taken from it. Eventually, because everybody was rooting for the Chargers to win the next two games so that narrative would be killed. But guess what? They lost that game. Now they're back under 500.
And now we're
So,
going to do the as
problem-
of now thing. Okay.
Now,
Oh
and-
boy,
and-
face it, we can't beat good teams as of now.
and
Well,
the
let's do
problem
the
with
as
rooting
of
for the
now thing.
Chargers so
How
we
many
can
good
kill that
teams
narrative.
have Buffalo beat as of now? How many good teams has Kansas City beat as of now?
They beat 7 teams as of now.
And we beat 6 as of now.
Right, but it's a disparity. It's a difference between all the teams involved. The
Yeah,
point
I know.
is,
I
we
know.
shouldn't be rooting for the Chargers just so we can make ourselves feel good about this whole narrative. Because the Chargers are winning hurts us. Because we in a 3-way tie. It's not a 2-way. It's not head to head at that point. It's best record and strength of victory when that plays in the fact when it's multiple teams as a tiebreaker. You want to create more separation between you and the team that's on your heels. You don't want them to be winning just to disprove a narrative of what about you winning a team. Everybody should be rooting for the teams behind us to lose.
Give us stop diminishing the Chargers and stop trashing my football team for beating them, then maybe I will stop rooting for them to win.
Well, nobody's diminishing them. They diminishing themselves by freaking not being able to stop their opponent from scoring.
I'm telling you that 3/4 of our fan base diminishes them because
that's because of the
can't
quarterback.
have the narrative that we beat a good team.
No, that's they're diminishing the Chargers because of the quarterback that they have and the quarterback we got. Let's face the facts. That's the reason why they diminished the Chargers, because who's under center for them.
Well,
that's the real reason.
Backfiring on them because guess what? That was a good team and we beat them in their house.
Okay, so we're 1-1 against them over the last 2 years. That doesn't prove anything until we play them.
I'm not fucking trying to prove anything.
But the real reason why people diminish the Chargers, we know because of the quarterbacks. If they had another quarterback that wasn't compared to ours, they wouldn't be getting diminished like that.
You know, y'all can have that quarterback discussion. I'm talking about the team that it took 41 points for one of the best offenses in the NFL to beat yesterday. That's a good team.
Okay, that just means Detroit defense is not as good as the teams that played the Chargers
They're
before.
8th ranked, Crypto. Right now, the Detroit defense is ranked 8th.
Yeah, but how many teams did they held under 20 points?
Oh, now we're gonna do what teams did they play? Okay, fine.
No, I'm just saying. I'm giving you one of those teams that you're bragging that we only held 21.
They're holding teams to 23 points per game. That should answer the question.
Okay, then Detroit, yeah, it may have took the Detroit 41 to beat them.
And
but
how many did the Chargers score on that defense that holds teams to 23 points? How many did the Chargers score on them yesterday? 38.
The Chargers scored a lot of points on a lot of
38
teams.
On a team that only gives up 23 per game.
Okay, they scored 34 on
us. The
us.
Chargers ain't a good football team.
Okay, they scored 34 on us too. They scored over 30 on us.
Guess what? We found a way to win in an opponent's home against a good team. That's the narrative.
Okay, and Detroit found a way to win.
There is no narrative.
There too.
There is no narrative. I think you and Crypto are arguing something that no one even came up and said. To be honest,
nobody came up and said it right now. You're right.
No one has mentioned Detroit. No one has mentioned big game.
This is my problem, Lewis. I know that nobody's mentioned Detroit. I'm mentioning it now.
Again, but that's what I'm saying. And I get what you're saying, Color, but the fact of the matter is what Detroit did yesterday to the Chargers has no bearing of what I came in and tried to have a conversation about. Our coach take big game, take big team, I'm just going winning record. It could be the Houston Texans. It could be the Cleveland Browns. Take your fucking pick. 31 other teams. The facts are when the Miami Dolphins under Mike McDaniel has faced a team over 500, he has 2 wins. The rest are L's.
Okay.
That's a fact. That has nothing to do about Chicago or
Detroit. I still fail to understand the reason for pointing out that fact other than just to say it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what's the reason for the message?
Because it has to get better, Color.
That means we have to change it.
It would have to get
sounds
better.
Like Mike McDaniel's got to get better.
That's what that's what I was closing the question about. Yeah,
yes.
Absolutely.
Yes, that's it.
That's what I'm trying to get to. That's what I'm trying to get to the root. I'm not even saying that we're a bad team. I'm not saying that I think we're frauds.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying none of that. I'm just saying that it just seems to me in the biggest moments, we give Mike McDaniel all this credit. Like, okay, cool. I know you can beat the New England Patriots. I know you can beat the New York Giants and the Jets. But you got to start winning. Screw the big games. I don't care who the team is. Again, that's alarming that a guy that we call this genius, this innovator of offenses, the winning records matter. You got to start beating some teams.
I get it, bro. I get it, bro. But the man came in very first game he ever coached and beat Bill Belichick.
He continued what his predecessor did, to be honest with you, but that's not a glorious feat, to be honest.
Was he continuing that when we swept them this year?
Yeah, he was continuing the tradition his predecessor
continuing Brian Flores' regime, sweeping the Patriots this year.
Yes, because Brian Flores also did the same thing.
Okay, so fine. You want to stretch that far? Go ahead. I'm not going to. I'll just stop engaging. I mean, it's
No, I'm just pointing out the fact
don't understand
that
why
he did something that his predecessor
don't understand
did.
why like.
As you pointed out, a different
team bearing to do
like beating the Bills, that would be more accurate, is what I'm saying. He did something that his predecessor didn't do, was beat the Bills, but beating the Patriots, his predecessor's done that over the last 20 years.
Is sight unseen.
He's done that.
Never having coached an NFL team in his life.
Has Brian Flores at the time that he beat them at 4-11 and went into Gillette Stadium when the Patriots had everything to play for, and he went into Gillette Stadium? That was his first year as a head coach.
Okay, so fine. So 2 good coaches then. What do you want me to say?
That's what happened.
I don't understand why bringing up Brian Flores has anything to do with Mike McDaniel beating the Bills the first time he ever played them.
That's because the Bills, he was on the schedule early in the season.
So? The hell does that have anything to do with it?
It doesn't. It's just the order of the way that things was lined up. That's all. It's just the order of the universe.
Now, if that order of the universe would have been reversed, we wouldn't be counting 411 days since we've been.
No, no, it wouldn't be, because that means we would have probably it would be longer.
They got the Chargers this week. We would have beat a 500 team.
Oh, yeah, 500, not above 500.
Okay.
That's all that's being said. No one's saying that you haven't beat a 500 team or lower.
Again, I understand what's being said. I still fail to understand why it's being said.
The only reason why it's being said, because the streak is still intact. If the streak ends, it will no longer be said. Wow. That's why it's pointless to root for teams like the Chargers when they're not taking care of their end of the bargain, when all they need to do is tie you and be in a tie. And if Buffalo catches us in that last game of the season, then guess what? You're in a 5-way tiebreaker against all these other teams.
Guess what if we can just keep winning like we've done 6 out of 9 times this year,
and all Buffalo has to do is keep winning and keep a margin that's within 1 by the last week of the season.
And if people want to say, "Oh, well, I guess we're just gonna be a one and done in the playoffs," well, then so what? Then you believe that. Good for you.
Yeah. Like I was trying to point out to people. Let me. I'm trying to point out real quick 2 things. Number 1, last year the Chiefs were on a 3-game losing streak to the Cincinnati Bengals. Once playoff hits, that stat doesn't mean anything anymore. You know what I'm saying? San Francisco had a big winning streak on Los Angeles Chargers, and they played and once they saw in the NFC Championship, that came to an end. The Buffalo Bills, they beat the Chiefs, they beat the Titans, they beat all their bullies. They finally got over the hump, and in the divisional round, that meant shit. So what I'm trying to say is, I don't care about if we beat winning teams, winning records. Who gives a the what I'm paying attention to is what happens in the postseason.
Exactly.
To me, that's what
everybody that wants to blame McDaniel for 30 years of choking. Fine. Hey, I'm sorry. If you think that Mike McDaniel and our team is going to choke just like every other team did for 30 years, then you're just being unfair. A year and a half into the man's regime, we're talking about how many teams above 500 he beat.
I have no interest in rooting for teams that's behind me. Not at all, to disprove a narrative, because mathematically it's fundamentally flawed, because you're going to find yourself, if you don't win the division, in a 7-way tiebreaker.
If people would just shut up and accept the reality of that the narrative is flawed, we wouldn't have to root for the Chargers. Well, but everybody's so hell-bent. Everybody's so hell-bent.
The wise thing is to root for the team in front of you.
We have to show that they're not.
So they could be above 500 and you could beat them once you play them. That would have been the more strategic thing to do, is to root for the Jets all the way up until the time we play them, and they would be guaranteed to be above 500 so we can beat them. Right. So everybody rooting against the Jets is asinine.
And again, I'm still asking the question, why are we talking about how many teams above 500 Mike McDaniel has beat in his year and a half tenure, over the fact that
because the same Brian Flores didn't get the same deference,
good, bad, or ugly,
because his predecessors didn't get the same deference. Neither one of them, all the way since Jimmy Johnson.
Well, good then. It still is.
What's good for the goose is good for the gander.
Talk about it. A year and a half into his freaking tenure, it's completely foolish and asinine. That's the same
because
word.
What's good for the
talk
goose
about it.
Because what's good for the goose is good for the gander. If Jimmy Johnson got treated that way, then
what gander? What gander am I part of?
Because he's a part of it. The regime for the last 30 years. He's a part of it.
Who is?
Everybody included. All the coaches.
Everybody
that ever coached
has
in the
been
last
here for 30 years.
Is a part of it.
Everybody.
It's a franchise.
Well, then what are we even doing? Why are we even bothering following this worthless franchise then?
If they're gonna treat Jimmy Johnson that way and all the people out to him, then everybody from McDaniel going forward.
Okay, yeah. Well, I don't work like that, bro. Okay. Sins of the father, bro.
I mean,
Get over it.
I mean, you don't have to. They
Sins
do that
of
all
the
the
father,
time.
bro. Get over it. I don't operate that way.
Yeah, I hear you. But at the end of the day, he still wants to run the topics that he wants to talk about, and that's one of the topics he wants to talk about.
No. Did I try to?
No,
there was
just
No.
Lewis just asked a question. I was my whole point of
But you're saying why are we talking about it? And that's what he wants to talk about. He's going to talk about it.
I was going
Man,
to.
that's not what I meant by why are we talking about it? What's the
I
purpose?
understand.
I was just saying the whole pointless of rooting for the Chargers and against the Jets was counterintuitive and counterproductive from a mathematical standpoint because we ain't even played the Jets twice yet. It will benefit us for them to have as many wins as possibly, well above 500, and beating the Bills twice, and us beating them once we play them versus the team we already played that's struggling.
But that's my point, Crypto.
That's
We have people
why
on. We have
why
two
root
teams on our
against the
schedule.
Jets?
We have 2 teams on our schedule that this regime has never faced.
That's what I'm saying. But I was puzzled
Or
why
if you
so many
count the
people.
Eagles.
I'm just puzzled why so many people in our fan base was adamantly rooting for the Jets to lose because they ain't gonna do nothing but exacerbate the narrative if you're beating bad teams. You want them to change it and become
Well,
good
for
by
the
the time
same
they play
reason
them.
you don't think we should root for the Chargers to win.
Because
it doesn't really
mathematically,
matter in the long run. It matters more that the Chargers and Jets and all AFC teams continue to lose. It doesn't matter what what we want our narrative to be. I agree with you.
But if I'm saying if that's what
But
the
why
agenda
would we
was, we
why
shouldn't
would we
be
need
rooting
them
for
to
the Chargers
lose though,
to win.
Crypto? If they're such a bad team, why would we care if they get one win that helps the narrative? You understand what I'm saying?
No, because that spirals out of control.
We're saying both things here. We're saying,
one
okay,
loss turned
you
into
don't
2
want to
losses.
root
2
for the
losses turned
Chargers
to
because
5
if they
losses.
hold on, you're saying you don't want to root for the Chargers to prove your narrative because then they'll be a contender and somebody we have to watch out and lose a tiebreaker to or whatever, right? That's fair.
We'll do that anyway.
But if they're a bad team, they're not going to be in that position to threaten us at the end of the year.
They will if everybody's sitting at 9-8.
Well, then we beat a good team.
Or they could be at 8-9.
Use your narrative, bro.
You beat a team above 500. It wouldn't be necessarily a good team. The Patriots weren't a good team when they went to the playoffs. They were just above 500.
Okay.
They got destroyed by the Bills in that first matchup.
Okay.
They were not a good team.
They
were just
them to open
they were just a team mathematically above 500. But once they made it to the dance, the Bills easily dispatched them 42-7.
Right. And I know that's what everybody's worried about. And if that's the case, then why? Like, again, I'm just asking what the purpose of it is, bro. Like,
right. The point is, if you want to dispatch the narrative truly, you don't look behind you for them to catch you. You look in front of them to be already ahead of you, so you can knock them down and beat them.
Agreed. Mm-hmm. But we simply don't have those teams on our schedule for the next 5
The Jets
games.
are on our schedule twice. And everybody's animally rooting for their downfall. And they could be one of the good teams above 500 that we beat.
Okay. So you want to root for them to win right now so that when we face them, they're above 500.
They will be well above 500. Exactly. Then the narrative automatically done.
I see the same Jets football team, whether they're 500 or not, when we face them. Maybe that's where the disconnect is. I don't see any difference whatsoever.
I do, because their defense is way better than the Chargers.
The narrative
sees a
difference. The narrative sees a difference. What I'm saying is whether we beat them, if they're 500 or over 500 or under 500, we're beating the same team.
We're not beating the same
which is a team with a stellar defense.
Which is light years ahead of everybody else in the league.
Agreed. So how does their record matter to that if we accomplish the
because that means they did something that's unthinkable. They managed to stay above 500 while maintaining a defense playing against an offense like ours.
That we beat a team that manages to stay afloat. It's different somehow.
No, because it's something that they did that's unfathomable since the 2004 Ravens. They'll be doing something virtually unthinkable. They would be on par with the 2004 Ravens.
I get it.
Or matter of fact,
saying that if they're 5 and 6,
2016 Jets would
when we face them, whether they're 5 and 6 or whether they're 6 and 5, it's the same team we're beating.
No, if they're 6 and 5, they will be well above 500. They'll be above 500.
Do you understand what I'm saying, Shake? Am I not being clear enough? I just want to make sure so I don't keep rambling.
What happened? What was the point? Sorry.
If we beat the when we beat the Jets,
Mhm.
whether they're 6-5 or whether they're 5-6, it's the same team.
Yeah,
Exactly,
same,
Bon Joe. That's the
same,
point. Yeah,
We
Bon Joe.
know
Same
what they
game,
are
same-
right
They're
now.
both a bad
We
team
know
now.
what they are. They're the worst offense with the best defense. We know what they are. So
And
whether
what,
they're
the-
5-6 or 6-5, it's the same win.
Okay, that's fine. It's the same win over the Chargers by 2 points. We beat a freaking a team with a bad defense and a somewhat a good offense.
Okay.
By the way, that the Chargers spotted freaking 20 points on freaking offense.
I still fail to see how that means anything as to what the Jets are when we beat them, whether they're above 500 or below 500. It's the same damn team.
Okay, that's irrelevant whether or not they're the same team.
That's the very relevancy of the conversation.
That's not my.
We started the conversation by pointing out that Mike McDaniel has only beat 2 teams above 500.
Exactly. And
I'm
looking
just
at the
submitting
Chargers
to you that
win,
it doesn't matter.
Don't matter.
Simply said it doesn't matter.
Oh, now you say it doesn't matter.
I've said that. That's what I've been arguing.
That's not my point. It's pointless to argue for a team that's behind you than a team that's in front of you.
I agree.
The Chargers are not longer on our schedule. Why are we rooting for them to catch us to disprove a narrative when we could just root for the team ahead of us to dispel the narrative once we played them twice?
Because people are looking behind people, not anybody in particular, are looking to those very games and saying those were worthless wins. And as such, Mike McDaniel only has 2 wins against teams above 500.
Yes, because as of now, they are from a mathematical standpoint, but it won't be if the Jets continue to win. That's the point.
I'm simply telling you that those teams they're pointing out, it wouldn't have mattered if they were 500. They were still the same team that we would have beat. It doesn't matter. Unless you're talking about a team that's 1-6 as opposed to a team that's 6-1. That's different.
That to me will be an agenda when people keep rooting against the team that's in front of you that you ain't
say,
played
bro.
yet. I'm talking about rooting. No, I'm talking about rooting against the Jets when they're on your schedule. And if they keep losing before they get to you, you won't get a chance to beat a team above 500.
And I personally don't care. I want them to lose. I don't need the gratification of beating an above 500 team.
Well, then why root for the freaking Chargers then?
Because what I'm trying to say is, Crypto, if I'm able to go tell everybody we beat a 500 team because we beat the Jets, I'm still only telling people we beat the Jets, bro. It's the Jets.
So what? And it's the Chargers. They're no freaking different.
Okay. Quite different, but that's another debate.
Yeah, they're no different.
Quite different.
It doesn't matter until it matters, Von Joe.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't fucking matter because the Chargers ain't no damn good neither.
I would say the Chargers defense is equivalent to the Jets offense.
That would be fair statement, Shake, because we know goddamn well that the Jets put the ball on the freaking their own yard line in order for the Chargers to get those damn points. 16 for 31, a 40 QBR, a 65 QB rating. Another yet a so-called good quarterback, and Justin Herbert got shut down against that defense as well. The only reason why the Chargers did score in that game because the Jets' ineptitude on offense kept putting the ball on the freaking 2-yard line for them to score. And a punt return for a touchdown. So, yeah, those same so-called superchargers that scored 30-some points against the 8th-ranked defense only manufactured 20 points on offense against the Jets, who have an inept offense. Yeah, they're very different.
Okay. Still fail to see how that means anything, but whatever.
Yeah, I still fail to realize that the Chargers winning mean anything either, because it don't.
So then why are we worried about whether they're above 500 or not? Why are we counting?
I'm not worried because I don't give a damn
Okay,
whether they're above
why is
500
anybody? Why is
because I knew I knew they
Why
were going to
is
lose to
anybody
Detroit.
Why is anybody counting the number of teams above 500 that Mike McDaniel has beat? I
They're not
still am
counting.
waiting
They're
an
just
answer
stating
on
the obvious.
what is the purpose of pointing that out,
That's
other
been
than
the
to
purpose a
say
long time.
that we have a.
That's been the purpose all along.
And I just simply disagree.
That's fine. All I know, if anybody under center other than Zach Wilson that would have been playing, they would have won their last 2 games easily with no problems.
Right.
And them shooting themselves in the foot on pre-snap penalties
Fair
on
enough.
offense.
Fair enough.
We all know this. The
And we
Chargers
all know
wouldn't
that
have
if
stood
we
a
had our
chance.
starting quarterback last year, we win a playoff game. So why are we continuing to say that we can't get the job done?
All we need is wide receivers to catch a fucking football. We didn't need a quarterback to beat the Bills. That's a goddamn lie.
That's that you and I are in agreement on that, but I've litigated that too many times. So I completely agree with you on that. We just heard
didn't
it
need a
today.
Matter of fact,
people finally criticizing Tyreek Hill
we
for costing
probably
us
would
the
have
game
won
the other
with
day,
Zach Wilson
but they'll
at quarterback.
still not point out the fact that Waddle dropped 3 passes in the playoff game, any one of which would have won us the game.
Hell, we played good enough defense. We had enough turnovers.
We have acknowledged it.
They would've
Everybody's
did that.
acknowledged it. Dr. Reginald's acknowledged it. There's a lot of people who acknowledged the fact that Waddle dropped that pass.
Yeah,
Color?
Dr. Reggie said it.
But how many times do you hear people saying, wait a minute, if not for 3 drops, we beat Buffalo? Just like they said, finally, you know what? Tyreek has to stand up and take accountability. Well, why didn't Waddle have to? Why did we spend the entire offseason trashing our 3rd string backup?
Yeah.
And most of this season saying that we can't compete with the good teams.
Yeah.
When it's completely evident that we can compete.
Well, I will say this without bringing the Lions in there, because Ryan Tannehill, last time I checked, was playing for the Titans at the time. It didn't take them that many points to beat those same Chargers neither. I think it only took them like 14 points to beat those Chargers. Or it was a very low number. I forget the total, but it was damn low. It's way lower than what it took Detroit to beat them
bad last year. Were we really that bad last year to lose to the Chargers?
Were we really that bad? I'm talking about this year when the Titans beat them same Chargers.
The same team.
So what we did this year is not that as spectacular what the Titans did the same year. I'm so beating the Chargers this year is not a statement.
Losing to them last year made any difference to calling them a good team or a bad team, or us a good team or a bad team, when we rectified that mistake right out of the gate this year and beat them.
Yes, when everybody's 0-0 coming out of training camp and preseason games, 2 weeks from the last starters playing. Removed
now, if we would have happened to have got them week 2 and they were 1-0, ooh, that's 3 in 2 seasons Mike McDaniel would have, wouldn't it be?
And then that 400-day streak wouldn't be 400 days. It'd be 100 days.
That's my point. There is no purpose, no genuine purpose of pointing out Mike McDaniel's record against,
and it wouldn't be no genuine purpose
in a year and a half in on his tenure, middle of the season, when we've got plenty of teams above 500 left to play.
It would be the same genuine purpose when they pointing out the good things, just as equally on the good side of things, just to make a point. Well, if you're going to point out the bad things and people complain, if you're going to say, well, you're going to keep shoving down all these accomplishments,
because
then
good things are things that actually happen.
Failures is actually what happened too.
Having a chance, only having half of a second season to prove he can get more wins against above 500 teams is not the same thing as pointing out that we put up 70 points on an NFL football team.
Okay, when you constantly keep pointing out an anomaly and keep sticking to that as the norm, then you're going to get the same thing in the other direction.
And
Point
I'm
out an
saying
anomaly
the
and
anomaly,
take it as a
the
norm.
anomaly is us losing the way we have this year. That's the anomaly.
The anomaly is us scoring 70 points in a ball game because it only been done 3 times in the
Give
history
them
of
back
the
40,
freaking
we still win the game.
It's not about winning. We talked about the point total.
Well, so give them back 40 and we still put a 30 burger up.
Okay, then you'd be doing something that normally happens. We're talking about stuff that's
doing
unnormal.
something that the Kansas City Chiefs didn't do.
Yeah, and we'll be doing something that the Dolphins didn't do, is beat the Chiefs. I mean, it could go either way. Harping on us scoring 70 against the hapless freaking what they call it.
Finally, Crypto.
Don't freaking matter.
Now you're finally getting my point.
I don't know what point you're making. But constantly keep saying we're scoring 40 against the Broncos, and it's something the Chiefs didn't do, when the Chiefs can turn around and say, well, fine, we did something you couldn't do.
You haven't gotten my point because you still won't acknowledge what my point is. My point is the conversation is asinine. That's my point.
Okay, and
it's tired, boring, and old.
Congratulations. Then we still have to end the streak of 300 something days of not winning against above 500 team. Then until that happens, the narrative is going to continue.
Oh, it's been 360.
It is what it is.
How many days has it been since Christmas?
Over 340 some days, or 320 days.
So should we have just held an impromptu Christmas celebration in June to balance that out?
But I don't get the point in all this. Until
there is only a finite number of days that you can play football in a year.
Because until we play another team that's above 500, not at 500, and win, then those people are going to continue to say what they're going to say. It is what it is.
You know what? This is the same thing as saying it's been 24 hours since I've eaten anything. I'm famished.
Well, that's neither here nor there.
Sounds a lot longer than one day, don't it? 24 hours I've been without food.
Yeah. Okay. I don't see the point in that. That's neither here nor there. People are going to say that.
Pointing out how many days it's been since we could beat a team over 500. It's neither here nor there.
People are going to say that. People are just going to say it until the Dolphins themselves and Mike McDaniel change that narrative. Until it's done, it's done. And you could have done it on Black Friday if people didn't have agendas against the Jets.
Well, he can't go play the game for them.
Well, he don't have to. He can coach the game for them.
Yeah, I know. He can't hold on to the ball.
He could tell the quarterback not to throw a backwards pass and cause your freaking wide receiver to get blown up and get it to a fumble for a touchdown. He can do that. He can tell the quarterback, don't throw a backwards pass, and when you know the defender's coming and they're going to blow up your best receiver and cause him to fumble. Yeah, the coach can do that.
And by the way, Cat for Life, I appreciate your comment here. It is literally impossible for a could have to be a fact. It's literally impossible.
No, he's just trying to say it's optional for us. We had control when the kickoff started. That's what he's saying.
Apparently we didn't, or we would have won the game.
No, because the other team participates 50% of the time too.
Oh, really? Are you sure about that?
Apparently, the universe revolves around the Miami Dolphins. Only they control everything. And the other team that's playing, like Tyreek Hill said, I wish we had the press conference. He said they earn a paycheck too. It's something I've been pounding the table.
Thank you. I'm glad Tyreek said that.
The other team earns a paycheck as well too. They made me fumble the ball. That's basically what he said. They made me fumble. They had to participate. I didn't just drop the damn ball on the ground. They made me fumble. He gave them credit.
And I'm glad he did.
There's nothing the Dolphins did on their own.
It's about time somebody says what's real. Like, I get it. He's responsible and accountable for the fumble, but let's not act like he walked out there and
He's
placed it
not
on the ground
100%
for them.
responsible for a damn thing.
No, but what I'm saying is people are acting like he went out there and placed the ball on the ground for them.
But that's what they say when they make that statement.
I know.
Is that we
That's
had
what
control
Tyreek's
of
saying.
it.
That's what Tyreek's saying. He's not saying, he's saying like what I'm saying. He's like, I didn't go out there and hand it to them. They forced it out of me.
Well, that's all I've been saying from day
know.
one.
I know.
53 men participate in a game of football. No one gets 100% account. It's mathematically impossible.
Agree with you. I completely agree with you. We're not in argument here. We're not in disagreement at all. I'm glad Tyreek said that.
Yeah, he was just acknowledging his.
I mean, imagine where we'd be if we would have lost to a bad team already. Would it be better?
Tyreek
would we
say
be
the
feeling
same
better
thing.
about ourselves? Because it's like, well, everybody gets those. You know,
No, Tyreek. No,
everybody
Tyreek
gets a mulligan against a bad team. Even though
No,
the
and
Bills
Tyreek,
now
he
have
said the
3
same
mulligans against bad teams on the season. Nobody's calling them frauds except me, of course.
Well, I only see 2 mulligans. They haven't played the other one the third time.
Oh, that's right. I'm all right. I forgot. Tonight's the third one.
And I don't even see that because the team that they do it just went below 500.
Okay. Well, then they should beat up on them because that's all Buffalo can beat.
So
wait,
Patriots,
that's right. They beat us. I forgot they beat us. They did beat a good team.
Yeah, so that narrative goes out the window as far as them not beating a good team.
And
that's not their narrative.
The fraud narrative go out the window for us too, if that was the case?
No, the fraud
you
narrative
can't beat
goes
a good team and then call them frauds at the same time.
No, because if you constantly calling Buffalo frauds, by definition, you're one because you got destroyed by that team. It can't go both ways,
saying, bro. You're not hearing what I'm saying.
What I'm saying is people try to get away with calling them frauds, and you lose to those frauds. You, by definition, is one.
The Bills fans and the people out there that say that say the Bills can beat a good team because look, they beat Miami. Those same people are turning around and saying we're frauds. So all they're telling me is Buffalo beat a fraud. That's all they're telling me.
I don't care what
a fraud is not a good team. So Buffalo didn't beat a good team if we're frauds.
Well, then the same thing gets levied on the Dolphins if they constantly keep calling Buffalo frauds.
Jamie's defining it right here. It's a paradox, bro.
The bottom line is the Dolphins fans try to get away with leveling frauds against them. They do it all the time, not realizing you lost by 28 points for those same teams. By definition, that makes you a bigger fraud. You can't level fraud against the team that beat you senselessly.
Okay, so I'll retract that. I won't level it that on them. What I'm saying is they didn't beat a good team. They beat a fraud.
No, Jermaine, you bullshit. You're full of bullshit. Just like the avatar in your goddamn thing. You go from Cookie Monster to Kermit. Who are you going to go to, freaking Oscar or fucking Big Bird, you fucking moron? Keep up with the goddamn conversations. The point is, the Dolphins fans try to get away with calling other teams fraud that beat them. They was quietly trying to call Kansas City and Philadelphia frauds and diminish their wins before we even played them. I keep up with this shit. Everybody was diminishing Philadelphia's wins prior to we played them, diminishing the freaking Chiefs' wins prior to us playing them. Every team we played and lost to, leading up into that game, we diminished everything and picked apart every game that they played on their schedule.
Except
and then up until we lost them,
a few of us, Crypto, like yourself and I and Shake and a lot of people were actually doing that on using logic and reason. not just, hey, I don't like Kelly Green, so we're going to beat them.
No, they're diminishing. Always start at the who's under center first and start picking and tearing them apart because they know they can't level that against Mahomes, so they went other ways. They went the freaking Travis Kelce route, Taylor Swift route, or they went the defensive tackle route or the Pacheco route. Because
Right.
they couldn't level that. They couldn't level it quite against Mahomes without looking like a
What route
complete
did I take?
asinine
What
and
route did I
idiot.
take? I took their points per game. I acknowledged their defense was the dangerous part of their team that was the part of their team we had to get through. And I was proven right. Our defense diminished their offense.
But who was saying
that? But we could not break through their defense. And that's why we lost.
But at the last minute, people were starting to come around to how good their run defense was or how good their pass defense was and how good Spagnuolo was.
And again, before that game started, Crypto, that was brought to my attention. And I acknowledged it, but I also said that it is fair to point out, this is why I brought up their wins, okay? Because it would have been fair to point out at that time, hey, your defense might be frauds. In other words, your defense might have played such bad offenses that's why you're fourth ranked or first ranked or whatever. I was just entertaining that as an idea. Now they proved me wrong. They backed up.
But it didn't take.
They
it didn't
certainly
take them beating.
did, Crypto. They backed up the fact that, hey,
but it didn't.
But I was saying we've only done this against bad teams. Now we did it against the Dolphins.
I saw that, but I was seeing that how they were playing other good teams.
They hadn't done that before we played the game, Crypto. We hadn't.
That's what we
the
differ.
only reason I pointed it out before that game was to say, look,
I've seen them play enough good teams,
maybe
or quality offenses or quality quarterbacks that warrant me saying this team is the real deal.
Right. It also didn't matter. One thing I pointed out before that game was it didn't matter what Mahomes could do, what Kelce could do, or what their defense could do if their wide receivers continue to drop the ball at a less than 50% rate.
And those are and
who got right in that game for them? Who got right in that game for them?
It's always our game that those receivers get right or that particular position gets right. That's why I always discard it. Because we will be the team that wakes up the
but it was still a fair point to make. It was still a fair point to make, and you're going on the subjective idea that we as Dolphins always have teams get right on us.
Or positions
that's
get
just
right
subjective,
on us.
Bro.
No.
I mean, I agree with you.
Basing it off from a historical fact.
I agree with that. I'm basing it on trend. I agree with that historical fact. But history said we were supposed to get 1 billion hurricanes the last 5 years. I don't even think we were threatened by one this year. Did we even have one threat this year? It's already November 13th. The season ends in 16 days. Have we even been threatened by a hurricane this year?
I don't even know about the South Florida things.
But history tells us that we would have been.
Yeah, but with that whole thing with the people getting right, I just knew it was right for the time because
I
how
have
we
that
play
intuition
defense.
with you, Crypto. I agree, but I wasn't going to say that before the game because, hey, I'm a fan. I don't need to make people feel or warn people. They can think. They need to think for themselves.
Well, maybe it's my intuition that gets the best of me, and sometimes people don't like to hear it when it comes to our team and thinking that this is going to be the game, fellas, that this defense or offense is going to get right on us.
And I'm going to admit right now, I'm totally in my feelings because the conversation has pissed me off enough over the last 4 weeks that, yeah, I'm in my feelings. But my feelings are valid. I'm not sitting here going, oh, what I'm tired of is being in my feelings. What I'm saying is all I've done is change those feelings from depression and despair and pessimism to, oh, same old 30-year Dolphins to No, I'm pissed that people are bad-mouthing my team as frauds. Both feelings.
No,
But I'm tired of the first feeling. I'm tired of every
I don't
single
think so.
season thinking at this point, because of what happened
I-
10 years ago and 5 years ago and even last year, that we can have any idea what's going to happen in these last 8 games, man.
No, this is the stretch run that we're in. And no one's penciled in at any position. Just like we're not penciled in at 4, we're not penciled in at 7 or 8 or number 1 in the conference. We're just there. No one's inked in. You could be penciled in because a pencil could be erased. Technically, ink can be erased too. But you get my point. We're sitting at 4. If the playoffs started today, we will be playing against the Steelers. Buffalo will be out. Cincinnati will be out because the team they played beat them. Heads up, straight up. Even though you want to talk about officiating in the Eagles game, well, I'm sure even though the Texans won, I want to say I think they only had one call against them, against the Bengals in that game that netted out. It was almost a 0 like our game. But guess what? Their quarterback elevated them and found a way to win. When the push came to shove, he turned the ball over 3 times, but he still found a way to elevate that team to beat the freaking Bengals. So call it what it is. They're the 7th seed right now.
Exactly.
They will
we
be.
can call it what it is, but if we do, you know what that can of worms that opens up, bro.
Well, yeah. Yeah, but yeah, who he's
Because
got
TD's made
playing
this
for
point
does
from the
that.
very beginning that Super Bowl teams win what do we say, Crypto, with Rams? The difference between Goff and Stafford is a Super Bowl ring.
Mm-hmm. Right. That was it. Yeah, that was it. And I'm sorry, Ali was right. It's no doubt in my mind that CJ Stroud is the best quarterback that's gotten drafted in a while
Oh,
from that
stop it.
school.
Oh, stop it. Oh, that's you know what, Crypto. I'm glad you brought that up because that's what really got me today. Why I've gone. What pushed me over the edge finally was watching Nate Burleson and all these NBC folks or whoever was on last night talking about how the Houston Texans have arrived. You have got to be kidding me.
Well, arrive as far as what? I mean, as far as what they did, as
Go
far
back
as
and
they
listen to
quick
their
turnaround.
post game take on CJ Stroud and the Texans, bro. It's ridiculous, bro.
Well, I can't say. All
It's
I know is what I've
ridiculous.
seen with my
One
eyes.
single game. One game, well, yeah, he beat a good team and blah, blah, blah. Look, first of
Whoa,
all, the Bengals
are we
haven't
going to
been
announce?
themselves this year. We
Are
all
we
know
going to
it.
now? Are we going to now start saying the big? See, this is why I can't get with.
But this is my point, Crypto. We spent the
No,
last 2 years talking
no,
about
we
how
just sit
Tua's
up
a
here and
fraud.
said
And
no.
then
We
now
just
CJ Stroud is the next coming of whoever because he got one win under his belt.
no. He's got 5 wins on his
I'm
belt.
talking about to a good team.
That's not the only good team he beat. He
Okay,
beat the
fine.
team that's in first place in his
Okay,
division.
fine. Okay,
It's not an
fine,
anomaly.
bro. Okay, fine. When some real
ca-
team kicks his ass, bro, come talk to me again because the Cincinnati Bengals
If
ain't real this year.
if some real team beats his ass, because the last time I checked, those Jacksonville Jaguars got destroyed by him, and they in first place right
and we
now.
saw how that just what the Jags are yesterday.
Yeah, they played against the Niners that now has a freaking
and
Hall of Fame
how many
defensive front
how many
now.
touchdowns did they score? Did they not
Yeah,
score
that
against the
that
Niners?
same Jacksonville Jaguars team that barely lost to the Chiefs and beat the crap out of the
You
Bills.
telling me that we wouldn't score one single touchdown against this Niners football team?
Well, we didn't score freaking 1 touchdown and a half. We barely scored 14 against the Eagles and Chiefs.
But
They
we
better
did.
than the Eagles and Chiefs.
But we did.
Yeah, we did. 14 points. Congratulations.
And the Jags didn't. Now they beat didn't they? They beat the Chiefs. So
Okay,
yeah,
they did.
whatever. But
Okay,
that's
exactly.
all we're doing is further illustrating the point that none of this shit matters, bro. It's an asinine topic. Like the whole thing
It
about
doesn't
winning,
fucking
be
matter,
good teams and
bro.
bad teams, and when you beat them and when you don't
It
is completely asinine.
I don't care.
Well,
We're not going to sit up here and diminish what GJ Stroud is doing at the same time.
Exactly. Listen, at the end of the day, they're not talking
quality teams. They're above 500. They're sitting in the 7th seed in his first season as a freaking head coach.
Anything. I
didn't at the end of the day,
so what? Okay, this is what I'm about to say right
Can I say something? Can I say
this
something?
This is what I'm about to say right now because I give
Crypto,
a damn what they said on NBC about this quarterback. This quarterback is playing lights out right now. He's playing pretty damn good. Now we want to say the Cincinnati Bengals didn't do shit when they just won 4 games in a row, beating the crap out of teams on their way to that game before they played yesterday. And now we want to start saying Cincinnati ain't did shit. When we were saying Cincinnati turned their season around. Cincinnati did. They have their annual crap to bed, 1-3. Then they turn around and beat the crap out of the same 49ers the week prior. The week before, they beat those same 49ers, that same team. We want to say that the freaking Cincinnati Bengals, those Cincinnati Bengals was on the come up. They was turning around. And now we want to say, oh, now the Cincinnati Bengals ain't shit because they lost to C.J. Stroud, and we don't want to give them fucking credit.
Yep.
That's asinine. That's bullshit. Just because I didn't get the goddamn difference.
Just like the Bills put 14 on the Giants after beating us.
Well, here's the thing.
Maybe they should have saved some for the
same
opponent.
Damn thing that fucking yes. Matter of fact, I'm gonna say they did turn it around. I ain't even gotta listen to what them goddamn NBC people said because I picked them before the fucking season started as to be the brand new team to represent the conference in the playoffs. Because every year there's a brand new slate of teams that's representing the freaking conference in the playoffs. This works like clockwork.
And
you can dial it
go one and done.
And I said that the Houston Texans is going to be one of those teams because I would think they would outplay the Jaguars. When they played the Jaguars head-to-head, they smacked them in the mouth. When they played the Cincinnati Bengals, who tried to cheat them out of yesterday's game, who only had 1 or 2 penalties called against the Bengals, and it still didn't work. And he stepped up and beat them in their house.
And by the way, Crypto, I want to point out that C.J. Stroud, as a rookie, has thrown for over 2,600 yards, 15 touchdowns, and 2 interceptions, which for a rookie, that's unheard of.
Well, there you go. Now you're telling me why he's good, and you're giving me fair points. But telling me one game against Cincinnati against a good team.
That's a part of the accumulation of it. They were saying that probably based on the accumulation of his games in 10 games in 10 weeks.
And our team had accumulated wins last year too, but we're still called frauds.
That's not none of our players was rookies last year. None of them.
Oh, you mean to tell me that
a rookie head coach?
This is
a rookie head coach, a rookie quarterback.
Real quick, this is all tongue in cheek. Okay, this is sarcasm. You mean to tell me that Tua's first season wasn't last year?
I don't care what the two of them say. They can treat it like it was last year.
I mean, it was his first year that he had a coach that believed in him, was fully healthy, had weapons, and a decent offensive line, bro. So this is really, truly to his rookie year right now.
Okay. They can say what they want.
Hey, I'm just holding people to their own words, Crypto.
They can say what they want. The fact of the matter is they have a brand new coach over there as well. A brand new system that was implemented as well.
A defensive coach,
a defensive-minded coach, just like our guy with a defensive-minded coach. That he can't say this. Oh, well, he had this guy, Non-household names at the wide receiver position. Well above very good running back.
Yeah, and you know what the difference? You know why the media treats them differently than us when we started to improve? Is because they weren't out there this year running up their freaking hype videos, running up the talk about CJ Stroud and he's the next coming of Christ. Okay, none of that. They got they got to work, they put their heads down, and they said, we ain't earned nothing yet. Their organization kept quiet. Their organization didn't set some unrealistic expectation with their fans. That's why their fans are like, no, we're real deal. We're not frauds, because they weren't Their expectation wasn't oversteered.
Well, to be fair,
Exactly, CCRR. Jermaine fucking Kermit don't know what the fuck he's talking about. It's not his fucking team.
We were
he
told
likes Tua. He doesn't like the fucking team. He don't
we
know
were
no
told
objective
that Tua
opinion.
was
He
gonna
thinks
have
the Dolphins are the only team in the fucking universe. Well, I'm being objective about other teams, just like I will be objective about our own team. So
we were
grow up,
told-
get a fucking
right,
brain.
Right. We were told that Tua was going to do what CJ Stroud is doing right now. Day one ready. That's what we were told. It's not my fault they lied. It's not my fault that they said that we really did have a project quarterback because of the hip injury, because of whatever else, and because of the toll it really took on him. All that. None of that was sold to us. Those are all reasons you draft a guy in the 3rd round, not the 1st, not 5th overall. And now we're looking at CJ Stroud going, wait a minute. Isn't that what Tua was supposed to be in his first season?
Yeah, the circumstance is almost identical. No household names at the receiver position. One good lineman, right? And then a defensive-minded head coach. I wonder what that sounds like.
But that's a coach that believes in him, so it's different.
Whether he believes in him or not, or believes in the tooth fairy or the Easter bunny, the fact of the matter is he still had to play football on the field.
Now, putting all that aside, regardless of how many more years it took Tua to get there, we have been rolling through teams.
Because if you believe a coach doesn't have this, is what tells me when a coach believes in you. If you create a top 5 defense for your quarterback, and you start giving him offensive weapons in his second year, the end of his first and second year. I wonder when did that happen under Brian Flores? Oh, it's 3 phases of football: special teams, defense, and offense. Just because he didn't do them in the order that they thought he should have did them in, to me, a coach that believes in you starts with the what's his specialty is on defense. He created a top 5 defense. He created a top 10 special teams. That's 2 of the units down. No one knows his 3rd-year plan or his 5-year outline. So by definition, Tua did have a coach that believed in him. So I believe that's a lie. That's a bogus narrative. Didn't have a coach that believed, because to me, if you give somebody a top 5 defense, by definition, a great defense is automatically,
of course,
an assistant to the quarterback.
By the way, Crypto, a defense. Okay, that let me get to the right spot real quick. A defense that if I do remember correctly, because I don't want to like hold the show up forever pulling this up, but a defense that was giving up 21 points a game, Crypto, that's the defense he provided to it, right?
Right. He was giving up 21 points a game.
And we were scoring in his first year with Chan Gailey, we were scoring 25 points a game. That dropped to 20. So we were scoring 20 points a game, and our defense was giving up 21, right?
Mm-hmm.
Currently, right now, the Chiefs are giving up 15.9 points per game. So they got the defense.
So was it Andy Reid didn't believe in Patrick Mahomes because he didn't give him a great defense in his first 5 years?
Well, here we go. Currently, the Chiefs on offense are scoring 23.1 points per game. They are literally statistically the same team we were into his first and second year. And they're 7-2.
Yeah,
not because of the quarterback. And I'll stop watching football.
Yeah, literally, they are statistically the same as the team, and figuratively too, exception of one good tight end.
No weapons except one good tight end. Isn't that all we had?
Right.
Well, you could argue Jaceki didn't end up being a good tight end. Okay, I get it, but we thought he was.
Everybody was praising Devontae Parker, who I tried to get out of the building.
Mm-hmm.
But they want to say I hate Tua. That's one of the main reasons why, because he wasn't compatible with Tua's skill set.
And now all these people that have to bring up other quarterbacks are literally destroying Mac Jones with good reason. He obviously
Yeah.
is bad.
You could
Okay,
say you could say
he
Flores never
obviously is
wanted
bad,
Tua.
but he literally has the team Tua was working with.
The organization never wanted Tua. That was an organizational thing. It wasn't just Flores that didn't want Tua Milano, or whatever your name is. Another Tua sycophant. Because it was an organization. Your owner, Stephen Ross, and Chris Greer backed them up by going out there seeking for other quarterbacks to the
Wait,
tune of
Crypto,
losing
I've
a
got to
draft
stick
pick.
my head in the dirt before you start talking that, bro. Hold on. Let me stick my head in the dirt real quick. I don't want to hear that. Nah, la, 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 la. What? La, la, la.
Yeah, they want to say Flores never wanted Tua when the organization never wanted him after year 2 because they flirted with getting Tom
Yeah,
Brady, Deshaun
exactly.
Watson, and Lamar Jackson.
A lawyer and broadcaster who has his entire reputation on the line reports that inside sources claimed that Ross wanted the civil stuff fixed and not the criminal stuff fixed in order to talk to Deshaun because he wanted him.
Yeah.
But Florio's a liar now. Florio is the type of lawyer broadcaster that will put false information out there and leave himself unprotected and his reputation unprotected. Yeah, sure. That's Mike Florio. Sure.
Yeah, and it came out to be true. Just
Well,
like
no, it didn't, because Florio was the truth, Jake. In other words, when it came out to be true, it was because Florio reported that. They turned around and called Florio a liar and misinformed, as if he made the thing up.
Yeah, that's crazy.
They have all acknowledged that he wanted Lamar Jackson. Well, what do you think if the owner wanted Lamar Jackson and we didn't get him? And then he's literally going out shopping 3 other quarterbacks, and they want to tell me that Flores was the bad guy in the building who didn't want Tua. Okay.
Yeah, because they want to push that narrative and that agenda. Because the further away you get from an actual event, they try to change you, and that's what
right.
gaslighting
Because all they're
comes in
telling
at.
me, Crypto, is that 3 guys didn't want Tua. That's all they're telling me.
Yeah, because by the time the year 2050 rolls around, it'll be like, well, Flores raped Tua's sister, and he freaking kidnapped his son. That's what it's going to spin into.
I'm glad we're not monetized anyway, because that probably would have spin it right there.
So,
jeez,
hey, you want to
exactly what they're going to do.
Anybody want to you want to drop the link soon or
yeah, I will. Yeah,
okay, just let me know.
All right.
I'm sorry I came in so hot and took over your show, Crypto. I just
no. I would just want to say, because
I saw the playoff jigsaw puzzle. I didn't think it was going to be about that whole narrative.
No, it wasn't about that narrative. I was getting to why the playoff jigsaw puzzle exists, because a lot of other teams outside of us make that jigsaw.
Right.
We don't control 100% of all the pieces on
and
the
it
board.
Also happens, I would submit to you that it also happens because good teams lose to bad teams all the time.
Right, and good teams like yesterday in the Cincinnati example will beat a good team. Up and coming good team, but eventually that will be their threshold. Okay, we got
what
this
I'm
under our
wondering
belt.
is,
Let's
let's say we beat Dallas. Let's just say for shits and giggles, we beat Dallas, right? Are the Cowboys going to turn around and say, are their fans going to be like, well, you didn't really beat a good team, you beat Miami? You know what I mean? Like,
well, Miami will have to,
or you didn't lose to
by the time we play them.
Or are they going to say, no, look at Dallas, they lost to a bad team? Well, they already did that with the Arizona Cardinals, so
that would only be true in our case if we somehow be 6-7 by the time we play them.
Right. No, but if we're all frauds, is what I'm saying, is if the narrative is that we're frauds, then it don't matter if we're 8-0. You still only beat a fraud.
Yeah, because they'll say your strength of victory.
By definition, a fraud is a bad team. It don't matter
Or
what their
they- or
record is. If they're a
pretenders.
fraud, they're a bad team by definition.
I mean, I guess you could say that, but I would say they're more pretenders. That's the
I don't know of
key
any
word
good
of it.
teams that are frauds, unless you're talking about we're really
Record-wise.
good, but it's fraudulent that we're better than that good. Okay, I get that. There's levels, but when
No,
you're
you could
talking
be
about
you could be the old Cincinnati Bengals with Marvin Lewis, or the old Cowboys with Tony Romo.
okay, you could be the Chiefs from last year, or you could be the Eagles from last year. Yes, technically the Eagles were fraudulent because they didn't win the game, but
No, they got
that's
to
what I
the
mean.
game.
There's
Once
levels.
you get to the game, you don't do it.
But that's what I'm saying. There's
You're
levels.
never a fraud.
For all the people that thought the Eagles were going to win the game, the Eagles look like fraudulent when it comes to beating the Chiefs. But they're not a
we're
fraudulent
not
football
bullies
team.
either, G. We don't classify as bullies.
That's
Not
what I'm
by any
saying.
stretch.
That's what I'm saying. There's levels. Like, if we're frauds, by definition, frauds are a bad team. They're getting a bunch of wins they shouldn't be getting because they're a bad team. That's by definition.
They're getting
fraud
the
is a
teams
bad
they
team.
should win. They're just not getting them against quality opponents.
I
That-
don't know about, but that's a bad team,
You're still getting the team wins,
bro. That's a bad
You're
team.
not a bad team if you beat
That's a bad team, bro. Like,
No, bad
seriously,
team.
if we beat if
you
we beat
constantly
6
beating
teams that were good and
Bad
went
teams,
6
that
and
make you
11,
bad.
no, wait, if we won 6 straight against bad teams and went 6 and 11, we're not a good team just because we won all the teams we should have beat.
Well,
No, we're good because of
I
our
want to
record.
say you could be a good team, but not a great team. There's
Right.
That's what I
So-
meant.
Big
That's
O
what I
said that
meant,
too,
Shake.
yeah.
There's
I remember
levels,
Big O
but
saying that.
by definition, a fraud would be a bad team. Unless you're talking about fraudulently calling yourself an elite team and you're only just good. You know
hold
what
on,
I
let me
mean?
bring,
a
let me
fraud
let me
Super Bowl
see that.
contender. I can
Let
see
me
a fraud
address-
Super Bowl contender. We're a playoff.
let me address,
Right,
we're
let
a
me
playoff
address
team,
what
but a
you
fraud
said.
Super Bowl
Hey,
team.
That's
bring
what
up
I
the
meant.
comment
That's
with
what I meant, Shake. That's what I meant. There's levels. Yes, you can
The one about
fraudulently
the Big O.
claim to be a Super Bowl contender and not be one.
Hang on. I wanted to read Nene's comment
Sorry.
because he
sorry.
was saying
Which
that.
one?
The
Hey,
one
turn
that
it up,
Nene put
Crypto.
up.
Turn it
Which
up.
one?
Tell
Which
us
one?
to shut up, man.
Oh, the last one about the Big O.
Okay, I got you. I'll put it up right here. Here you go.
No, I mean, that's correct. It's just the worst thing the Big O did was use the word "we are fraud." Quote: "We are fraud." Show we haven't stopped talking about fraud since. His suggestion was if we go on to lose all of our games, if we're 11-6 or 12-5, and all of them are to good teams, and no wins are against a good team, and all of the victories came against sub 500 teams.
And one and done in the
That's when he
playoffs.
pushed that narrative.
And one and done in the playoffs.
Right, that's what the Big O was pushing.
Because we can
And
lose
we're
to five good teams and still roll through the playoffs.
Yes, it's just your probability would be low because you haven't proved it. But
I
yeah,
don't know
you
about
can.
that. Proving it wouldn't affect the probability. Otherwise, our projections would be
beating them
down
would.
right now.
No, the projections to get into to win. If the season's over after 18 weeks.
Okay, you're speaking of likelihood, not probability. Because
Yeah,
probability is
the
an
Big O
objective
only used
number.
that word.
But I'm saying
Well-
probability is an objective mathematical figure, whereas likelihood is more of a
Yeah.
subjective. Hey, we're not likely to win a playoff game if we can't beat the good teams in the regular season. I get that,
Oh,
but the
look,
probability won't be affected one way or another
Well, he
mathematically.
used it because if all of those teams that we lost to are in the playoffs, then that changes the likelihood and
Right, but
probability.
then what
of
if we
beating
go
because
and
we're
beat all those
participating.
teams in the playoffs?
Yeah, you can, which means the probability is still low because you haven't beat them
Okay.
yet.
And that's why I was
Mhm.
adding that caveat that
Mm.
if we get to the end of the season, one and done in the playoffs, and having lost to nothing but good teams, okay, fair enough. We can say we're frauds at that point.
Then that definition
Yeah.
of fraud would
Well-
apply fully because
well,
that
all I
means
know-
they were carried out. It was carried out.
Well, all I know is when we lost, when Tom Brady won his last Super Bowl, nobody brought up the fact that he got killed by the Chiefs. That's why Antoine Winfield threw him the peace sign because they played earlier that season, and that's Tyreek Hill threw Antoine Winfield the Antoine Winfield the peace sign.
Peace
That's
sign,
why
yeah.
he threw it back at him in the Super Bowl.
In the Super Bowl,
And nobody brings
remember
up the
that.
fact that the Patriots, Tampa Bay got smoked twice by the Saints that year. Nobody brings up the fact that they were a 7 seed or 6 seed, or whatever, that they were the last seed going into the playoffs. They won the Super Bowl. At the end of the day, that's all that matters.
Public safety reminder.
They beat the Redskins at the time. They were the Redskins, and then
public
they beat
safety
the Saints
reminder
and then beat the Packers.
Make sure you read what you wrote before you hit send.
Mm-hmm.
So G-Man, the Dolphin, who's been on me all day today since the morning, everywhere I've been, says color with his stupid takes, which is an ad hominem, but that's okay, because then he goes on to give a stupid take, which is hilarity if I've ever seen it. Keep beating the crappy teams. See where that gets you in the end. You know where it's not going to get us if we lose to those crappy teams? Are you telling me to beat you're saying keep beating the crappy teams, see where that gets you in the end. Well, if you've got 16 crappy teams on your schedule, that's going to put you at 16-1 and in the playoffs. So before you write color with his stupid takes, you might want to read your take before you put that in front of it. Because beating the bad team, beating the crappy teams gets you W's. Just like it got the Chiefs last year, just like it got the Bills the past 4 years. You think the Bills had a 13-win average record the past 5 years by beating good teams? Really? All 13 wins every year. Well, guess what? All they had to
you're going to beat some bad teams.
All they had to do was lose to 4 good or bad teams, and they would have had our win total.
Yeah, the Chiefs would have.
Do you suggest that we go back in time and lose to the Vikings again? G-Man, where were you with your blue tie at the stadium for the Vikings game when the entire stadium was filled with purple?
Yep, it was definitely a lot of purple. I witnessed it.
Should we not have won that game? Should we not have cared about it because it was a crappy team that we lost to?
Welcome, EM. Shout out, EM. Hey, Lewis wants you to know that you are an expert, EM. So Lewis just wanted to me to give you that information. He said you're a legend, EM, and you are the expert. So EM, just want to let you know you've been elevated to expert status, and you're a legend in the community. I just had to say that from the Rabid Dolphin. I had to put that out there.
And so G-Man follows that up with color. This team ain't it. Just admit it. I'm a fan, but I'm a realist. You are by far the furthest thing from a realist I've ever met in my life, bro. Just so you know that. Just because you throw the word realist out doesn't give you the right to bash everything that anybody ever does bad. Because you're a realist. The season has 8 games left in it. For you to be a realist, the season would have to be over right now.
You have to have already ended, yeah. Yeah.
If I were to be that type of realist, I could look at the wave function right now and tell you, we're guaranteed to win our division. We're guaranteed to make the playoffs. We got a 93% probability to make the playoffs. 73% possibility to win the division.
Right. If
67% probability to win a playoff game.
If the GM ended it all today, the commissioner ended the season, say we got to go into the bubble because we have to, we got to stop all play. We will be crowned division champions.
But who's not projected for that?
Real quick, guys, just
projected for that.
Real quick, guys,
Buffalo Bills, who have a 56% chance of making the playoffs.
I just want to let you know we got an hour before we shut it down because at 9:30 we are doing the 2-year anniversary.
Right on.
Okay, that's cool. We got you. Go ahead and you can drop the link for If you want, go ahead.
Is
We can get
Buffalo's
some- we can get some
probability
final.
more or less real than the Dolphins' probability? Because the
Let's bring them up
Buffalo's
one by one,
probability.
and I want to ask
Hold
them
on,
some questions.
Buffalo's
All right.
probability of making the playoffs is 56%. It's almost a coin flip.
Which is above. Yes, a coin.
right.
Is
slightly
their
above coin flip.
probability more or less real than our 93% probability of making the playoffs?
And by the way, I'm just in the back. I'm taking care of some things, but I will bring them up one by one. All right.
Since,
I'm
right
listening.
on. Since we like
All
to
right.
selectively choose who we believe the projections for, and since we're all being realists here, but wait a minute, Lewis, the shit does matter because G-Man fashions himself as a realist. So I'm just telling you what the real projections are right now.
Yeah. Von Joe must have heard me turn up about CJ Stroud. Don't worry, it's coming. Don't worry, Von Joe, it's coming.
Right,
I'll
G-Man.
put that one in my back pocket, Von Joe. I got you.
All right.
I got you.
Right, G-Man. Buffalo kicks our ass every single game. Guess who we're not going to likely have to face in the playoffs? Because their record is projected for 10-7, which ain't going to be good enough.
Our first is Fred.
Okay, Fred, I got a question before we get started. Right? All right. I titled the show Playoff Jigsaw, right?
You have Adam Crypto. I'm taking a break on Fred, man.
No.
Hey, by the way, Cat for Life here in the back, but guess you're going to be coming up soon. We're gonna go one at a time, so just be patient, y'all.
Okay. Hey, Fred. Now, just a yes or no. Given the fact that the Browns beat the Ravens, we were on the bye. The Houston Texans won a big game against the Bengals. The Steelers pulled off a win, right?
Yeah.
Keeping them at bay. Now that every team in that division is above 500, well, still they were always above 500, at least 5 wins or more, right?
Yeah.
So you got that division. Our division got 2 teams with 5 wins or more, just us and the Bills, right? And then the Chiefs, it's just them, and then everybody's 4 wins or less, or 5 wins or less. My bad, because the Raiders got their 5th win.
Yeah.
Given that factor in our conference, do you believe that this is a even more muddied waters as far as our playoff picture? Of course, all we have to do is just keep winning, but we know we're going to have some slip ups along the way on our next 8 games. As far as our playoff jigsaw, do you agree that it's now gotten more muddied and more complicated as far as the possibilities of us getting a favorable matchup in the playoffs if we were to finish the job and make the playoffs?
Yes, Crypto. Yes, I do believe it's gotten that much more muddier, man. Like with these, but especially with these sneaky teams, man, like your Texans, your Steelers. They can easily get hot. Especially them Texans, man. They don't scare me, man. But
I would say I picked them to be the brand new team because it's always a brand new team that makes it into each conference in the playoffs.
Right.
They were my pick for the AFC, and my pick for the NFC is not even nowhere in sight. So I'm 1 for 1 so far if the Texans finish the job. But
that right there, man. Them guys. I'm not going to call them scary, but they're definitely sneaky.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
The defense.
I'm glad the Browns. I'm glad the Ravens and the Bengals. I'm glad they both lost. You know what I mean. Keep things within reach of where we want to be. It's not getting out of hand. You know what I mean. And yes, man. Things have just gotten a little sticky, man.
Because had the Ravens won, right? Let's play this out. If the Ravens would have won, they would be 2.5 games ahead of the Browns. Now
exactly.
They would have had more separation. They would have had 8 wins. The Browns would have been still at 5. So it'd have been 3 ahead in the loss and then win column, and 2 games ahead in the loss column. So they would have created separation. They still could create separation between them and the Bengals Thursday, but that's their opportunity for them in that division. But if things start getting
Exactly.
tighter and tighter, everybody ends up with 9 or 10 wins. It's going to be some crazy tiebreakers going on for the division. Then if
It is.
everybody's got 10 outside of that and we got 10
Yeah.
or 11, it
Yeah.
creates more problems for us. If we don't finish the job ourselves. That's just given if we don't win the division. If we lose the division, everybody else is in play as
Right.
far as,
Right.
you know, tiebreakers against non-division teams because it's only 3 slots. You got the
Right.
4
Right.
division winners and 3 teams, all the rest of the teams vying for 3 spots.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
we might be in a situation where we might need to win 12 games to guarantee a playoff spot.
Exactly, man. Exactly, man. We're not going to disqualify Jacksonville. They're still very much in the mix.
Yeah,
You know
they
what
had
I
a
mean?
slip up. Yeah, I
There's
mean, they still
another
going to be in contention. Yeah.
there's another team there, man. But yes, man. But definitely, man. Things have just gotten that much stickier, and like we need to just handle our business, crypto, man. If we do that,
That's
man.
it.
I think we'll be
Just
all
got to
right, man.
do
Just
what's in
handle our
front of us,
business, man.
you know.
Exactly.
if
Exactly,
I
man.
if I had the
I don't
power,
want to.
if I had the power of Almighty, everybody that's we not playing would be their games would just tie the rest of the way. You know,
Yeah,
all of them just
yeah.
end in
So
ties.
there.
Every game, every AFC game ends in a
So
tie except our game,
yeah,
and
yeah.
that'll do
So
it.
I'm gonna leave.
Then we'd be 3 wins.
I,
3 wins would
I'm
be our
gonna.
magic number. In that scenario, we will only need 3 more wins to
Yeah.
clinch a playoff spot. That'll be it.
Right. Right. S- So so
Yeah,
so
yeah,
I'm gonna go ahead and let somebody else go crypto, man. Let somebody
yeah.
else get
Cap,
a
you can
turn,
bring
man.
Cap
But
up,
I'll be listening.
but yeah,
I'll be listening.
yeah, you can.
I'll be listening.
That's cool. You can just go on mute. That's fine. Go ahead, Cap. You heard the question. You think our situation is more muddied, more of a playoff jigsaw as far as week 10 for these last 7 games or last 8 games because it's 18 weeks. My bad.
Oh well, thank you for having me on the program, Crypto. Thank you for and Color and Shake and Fred. And how are you? For me, it's just
What's up, Cat?
I know my math was not mathing last week when we lost because I was looking ahead, but I was
Hmm.
looking toward a scenario that was pretty much to this type of outcome. I mean, even though the Jets were involved in that scenario, but you can
Hmm.
just pretty much replace the Jets with the Steelers or with the Jaguar. I mean, not the Jaguars. Well, the Jaguars, yeah, because they lost. They
Bengals
didn't
and
lose.
Bills because they're 8th and ninth.
Yeah,
They're the 8th and ninth teams outside looking in.
yeah. And then the Ravens didn't do themselves any favors either, but they put them in that
Right.
3 loss category, which is our category now. So the end of the year, that game might be bigger than what people really think it is if the trajectory keeps going the way it's going, because we're still
Right.
predicting another 2 losses. That's what we're all saying, more or less, right?
Yeah. But I'm just saying if the season ended, that's the seeding. It's the Chiefs, Ravens, Jaguars, us, Steelers, Browns, and Texans. Those are the 7 participants
Yeah,
right
we
now.
have to win the
The way it
division,
stand
bro.
now.
That's pretty much the waters are muddy right now, but the only way to stay in clear waters is for, unfortunately, we don't want the scoreboard watching, but we put ourselves
Right.
in the state of the AFC where we have to, man, because right now we can be on top, but any little small little slip and we can be on the outside looking in. And I've been saying that for 3 weeks, and the way that these teams keep winning, it's not helping our case right now, man. So yeah, man, we just gotta hope and pray that we keep going the way we're going with these weak teams, take advantage of the situation. But yeah, the waters right now are getting thick. We can get out of it right now simply if we just stick to the plan and just, you know, not look back right now. I know we're all living in the
Yeah, just
past.
keep winning.
Yeah,
Right.
because I'm
Thank you,
guilty of it.
Crypto. Win. That's the plan. Sorry, Cap. I just had to jump in and say that. That's right. You're right. You just keep winning.
Right. If we don't keep winning, it's gonna make it even more muddied.
Exactly, bro. Like we don't.
Actually, technically, what's this? December, November.
Yeah,
If
bro.
we
Like
lose 1 or 2 games by Christmas, the whole playoff is in shambles as far as other
Right.
teams.
Exactly.
We give the
Exactly. And
4-win teams life at that point.
exactly. And Cap, just so you know, that answer was more the reason I came up and followed you up was simply to drive home the point I'm trying to make to G-Man when he asks me what beating all the crappy teams will get you. 12 wins, that's what it'll get us.
we got to take advantage, man. If we're predicted to be at a 12, 13, range around there, I mean, we have to make sure that this December coming up, which, I don't know, no one's answered me this question yet, but I think it's 5 games in December, right?
Are you talking about our total? No, 4.
This year?
Like 4 total games that we
Yeah.
play. You talking about our total games for December?
Yeah.
It's Commanders,
Depends on if it's
Jets,
a
Titans,
5-week
and Ravens.
month or not. Is
Cowboys.
it a 5-week month?
Oh yeah, he's probably saying yeah, because the Commanders is in week 1.
Oh,
The
I'm gonna check real quick.
Texans. I mean, not the Texans. The Titans, Jets at home, Christmas Day, and then New Year's Eve. I mean, Christmas Eve and New Year's Eve. So yeah, 5 games.
Oh yeah.
5 actual December games. Yeah.
So
Yeah,
we
Yeah,
have
'cause we had a bye in
New
November,
Year's
yeah.
Eve is on the 5th week, right?
to
Yep.
do something that we've never
So
done
5
before.
actual games.
And,
Yeah.
and that's the only way to get out of the muddy waters right now. But yeah, man, like I said, having the bye helped us to get healthy. But at the same time, we knew somebody was going to take one game up. We knew it was going to happen. That's just the math. You know what I mean? Like, what are
Yeah.
we going to do moving forward? That's it.
And this is laughable right here. And Cap, I'm glad you're up here, Cap, because I know, bro. I understand where you're coming from. I've known you for a long time now, and you haven't changed at all. Like you still have the, you're still, right to point out the same concerns you do. You're not saying anything wrong, and I didn't mean to ever make you think
But
that.
it gets tiresome.
But here's the thing. But let me ask you a question. Knowing how you feel and knowing how you felt the past season or two, G-Man says, Color, it will get you 12 wins and 1 and done in the playoffs. Let me ask you this, Cap. What was the last team you can remember with 12 wins that was 1 and done in the playoffs? Better question. What was our record the last
What was that, EM?
the last 2 or 3 times that we were 1 and done in the playoffs? What was our record?
One above 500, I think, on one of them.
Maybe. Right.
One
So
year
I
we was
wanna
10 and
know how
6.
12 wins. Why we're the only team that's
Yep.
so fraudulent that 12 wins going in the playoffs is a 1 and done team. I'd like to know how you even remotely project that and call yourself a realist. Not you, Cap. I'm saying, what do you think, Cap? Do you think that a 12-win team, your first thought, not that they couldn't lose. I get it. Anybody could lose. Anybody could be 1 and done.
Yeah. Hey,
And there
Lewis.
have been 12-win teams that go 1 and done. I get it.
Hang on.
But in
Hey,
your
Lewis,
memory, is your default position that you're going to go out there and say a 12-win team is going to be 1 and done in the playoffs? Is that really the bet you're going to make?
I mean, unless you got a whole bunch of teams at 12 wins, that's like right there with you.
Agreed there. Agreed.
I mean, the possibilities could happen. I mean, it's happened before, but to say it's us,
that's not the question I asked. The question I asked would be, would you make that bet with your hard-earned money?
Oh, no, because
a 12-win team is not going to get a playoff win.
Well, G-Man, that's the point that the Big O was trying to make earlier. That's what he was saying. 12 and 5 is a hollow record if you haven't beat a good team. That's only what the Big O was saying. That's what he was trying to say. It's a hollow record.
We have to make sure that 12 and 5 is a 12 and 5 where it helps, like, say that you got a first round with that 12 and 5.
You're totally spot on with that. What we're scoreboard watching for this year is seeding, not to just get in, is what I'm saying. It's a difference. We're 70.
Okay, Nene, I'll give you a better word. Hold on. She's looking for a better word.
The first round of the playoffs.
Hang on, Color. I'll give you a better word, Nene, since the word fraud is getting under your crawl. I would just use pretenders. Pretenders
let everybody
is a better word. That's the more GP word, the more of a better word. Nene, I would use that. That's what the Big O was trying to say. We are pretenders. Even though he said fraud, but he's probably saying
a little bit of sarcasm here, B. McD. Correct me if I'm wrong. I sense a little bit of sarcasm here, and I love it. He says 10-6 in 2015, I think.
Actually, paper tigers are better. Or,
Right, what I'm saying is he's stretching to have to remember a an above 10 win team losing in the playoffs. He's struggling to remember.
Well, 10-6. That's well above 500. That's not a bad record.
No, I said 12 win team going one and done. And yes, while it's happened,
we were the last 11 win team to be one and done.
What I'm saying is BBD, I think, is struggling to remember a team that had a good amount of wins, like 10 wins, and were one and done.
Yeah. Well, we did it against the Ravens when we lost to the Ravens in 2009, I think.
2009,
we were 11
right.
win team at that time.
And what was our record against the Steelers with Tannehill when Matt Moore was playing? We were like 9-7 that year.
Yeah, or 10-6 or something like that. Yeah. We had 2 10-win teams. One made the playoffs, one didn't. One 11-win team made the playoffs, and we were bounced by the Ravens of the wild card offense.
I mean, hell, it's a more fun discussion to talk about who has ever gone below 500 and won a playoff game.
Okay, Nene, the official word is pretenders. So I got you, Nene. The official word is pretenders. We'll say pretenders. No frauds. Fraud is a hard word. It's a little hard on it, a little harsh. Pretenders. We'll adjust the big O words for him. Even though big O's don't care about adjusting his words, we'll adjust the words for him. We'll say pretenders.
Now let me ask you guys this: we're saying right now that we know that that's a harsh word to use moving into the situation we're in now in first place in the division with first
How about
place.
mock team?
We're
mock team. How
but
about
I'm
mock?
saying now, like with all that statistical numbers being number one, God forbid we have an upset Sunday. Would that be categorized as fraud level?
Well, the big O won't wait. I can guarantee you.
Well, no, we're allowed to lose to the bad teams, bro. Don't you know?
I can tell you right now that the big O will not wait to use that word fraud if we lose to the Raiders. He's not gonna wait.
No, I'm saying that would make us more real. We would have done what the Buffalo Bills have done this year. Lose to a bad team. Twice.
Yeah.
But don't you think the timing would be like impeccably wrong?
I'm being sarcastic, Cap. I'm being sarcastic. I'm sorry.
And by the way, Crypto, how long do you want to bring them all in, or just
you can bring them all in? No, you can bring
cool.
them in. You can bring the rest of them in. I'll just address them with Sharif and EM. That's cool.
Yeah, damn, Sharif up here too. Oh, I can't deal with Sharif tonight. Not tonight. Shit, not tonight. Damn. I had enough of Sharif the other night. God damn.
You can do it, EM. Hey, Sharif is getting body bags. He's got coconuts ready and body bags. So goddamn it.
No, man, Sharif about to run me up out of here too.
He got them coconuts ready for Lou. He said, yeah. He said he's gonna hit Lou in the back of the head with a coconut the last time we was on a panel.
Damn, Lewis.
What's good, fellas? What's good?
Hey, what's happening, EM? What's happening, bro?
EM. Hey, hang on, Fred. I'm gonna let EM
run with this narrative, EM. I tell you that.
I was gonna say, EM, to the question about our playoff jigsaw. You think the things got muddied a little bit, given to all these teams winning and losing yesterday?
Muddied for who? For us?
No, for everybody in general. Hell, even the Chiefs.
I mean, we can. If you're coming from our perspective, we could ask for anything better than what transpired yesterday.
Why do you think that?
Well, I mean, look, it's only.
Yeah.
Well, it's only one team that has 2 losses, and that's that's Kansas City. Everybody else has 3 losses. So now that puts us if those 7-2 teams or 6-2 teams would have won yesterday, I mean, that'll put us, a game behind. That would have kind of dropped us down in terms of the seedings. But now everybody's on a level.
Sorry to interrupt you, but you're making a really astute point right now that I've got to jam home, because the fact of it is, by all those teams losing like they did, we are right back where we were before we faced the Chiefs, except for the Chiefs.
No, 100%.
No,
110%.
We was a 2 seed outright before we played the Chiefs.
Absolutely.
The Chiefs are the only team that was ahead of us.
So
but
now,
in the
lost since that.
that's because of tiebreakers. But in the loss column, we're right back to where we were.
exactly.
Yeah, the
Exactly.
loss column, but we was the same way in the loss column even then when we was before we played the Chiefs.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Well, that's what I'm
is
saying.
There'd be a bunch of teams with
Chiefs
only
was our
2
third
losses
loss.
right now.
Exactly. We would.
Shit.
Exactly. That would have knocked us further down in terms. If the playoffs would have started today, that would have bumped us down in terms of the seedings. But now we're on a level playing field with every other team in the AFC except the fucking Chiefs, which is where we can ask. I mean, we can have the expectation of being better, or having one loss and whatever. But really, at this point, going into coming off a bye week, you can't ask for more in terms of wins and losses where we're at right now. So we're on a level playing field with every other team but the Chiefs. So,
and before the Chiefs, it was the same way, except the Chiefs were with everybody.
Right. So, but again,
beating the Chiefs would have put us at number 1, even going into
it would have. It would have.
We would then is number 2.
It would have, but
nobody ever argued that beating the Chiefs wouldn't have greatly improved our situation. Nobody argued that.
Yeah,
but at the end of the day,
even with all the stuff that happened yesterday, we would still be no less than number 2.
Well,
if we would have beat the Chiefs,
right. But we didn't. So we lost. So, and again, we just needed all these other teams with 2 losses. How many teams going into yesterday had? How many AFC teams had 2 losses?
Still,
hang on, Crypto.
I think
how many?
3, EM. I think 3.
Was it 3? Okay, so we had 3. Yeah. So we had at least 3 teams ahead of us. So no, the game couldn't have played out any better for us in terms of the seedings now. So again, coming off a bye week, moving forward, the second half of the season is upon us, bro. We're on a level playing field, and who knows? Kansas City is going to lose again. They're going to lose again at some point.
Yeah, they can lose next week because they play Philly.
But we couldn't have asked to be in a better situation right now. So.
Yeah, they can take an L next week. They do play a rematch.
Right, we would have basically, like Crypto pointed out last week before the Chiefs game, we would have basically, we were in the position we were in when we went into San Francisco last year. We were in the same position. Win these games and we can lock up the 1 seed. But that was in week 11. We were facing that situation against the Chiefs in week 9 this year. Way earlier. And we're going to face that situation again because the Chiefs will lose
Cowboy
again.
Game.
Yep.
Yeah.
We have to win. Sure, we all know that, but continually repeating that we haven't beat these teams yet, and we're going to have to do this to not be a one and done. All you're telling me is a truism. All they're saying is, yeah, we got to win. No fucking shit.
You can lose to every single. Hold on.
In order not to scoreboard watch,
you can lose to every single winning team in the regular season and make the playoffs and actually go on a run. So the whole narrative with against beating winning teams doesn't mean squat. Okay, it doesn't mean squat.
Alex, let me ask you this question: are we the 2009 Giants or 2007-8 Giants? That's the last team that did it. That was literally the last team that did that, which is exactly what you suggest. Not beating quality teams in the regular season and go on a 4-game run.
Actually, the Buccaneers did it.
Okay, yeah, you can count the Bucs.
That year.
Someone's got a bad echo, by the way.
Lou, what's good, bro? You mighty quiet over there. I'm really anxious to hear your thoughts on this situation.
No, I don't know what Lewis.
Real quick, while he reconnects, my biggest concern because of what we actually look like. If I were to make a true comp, great offense, big numbers, kind of seem to falter against the bigger teams in the bigger moments. I just don't want to be the 2021 Cardinals. I just don't want to be that team, man. That's all. That's the one team you could point to. Big time amount of wins, over 10. I think they had 12 wins that year. and they go and lay an egg
But
against.
don't even go that far,
Brandon
Cully. Didn't you
Hugo.
want to beat us last
They
season?
won like 10 in a row, didn't they?
Yeah, they had that was Kyler's breakout year.
No, well,
Yeah,
let me ask you this. Would you want to beat us
it was.
last season going into the midseason?
I'd rather be us last season than the 2021
Going
Cardinals.
into almost a 7-game losing streak? You crazy?
I think
No, that's the beginning of the season.
I'm not.
Go ahead,
I'm
Lewis.
not. I'm definitely not going to shit on Crypto's show. I would never do that, or anyone else's show. But I think this shit right here for the last hour and a half after I posed, I thought for what I thought was a simple fucking question has been some of the biggest nonsense I've ever heard in my goddamn life. Because none of the shit that was up here today,
shit.
nothing, like we started arguing about what other teams did, what other teams, and this and that. And the fact of the matter is, since Mike McDaniel took over the Miami Dolphins, he is 2 and whatever the fuck the other number is against winning teams. I'm not saying
So
we're
what's the
frauds.
question?
I'm not
What
saying.
was your question, Lewis?
Well, the question was again, why is it that Mike McDaniel seems to have struggles against winning teams? That's not saying good teams. I'm not saying big matchups. I'm not saying any of that. The fact are the numbers are when it's a team with a winning record. I think Mike McDaniel has either 9 or 11 opportunities in the year and a half he's been head coach. He's won 2 of those matchups. I don't give a fuck about what Detroit did. I don't give a fuck about what Buffalo does. I don't give a shit about what the Jets do. They're not on my team.
All right. So you
None of
asked the
those teams-
question of why
So-
that is, and we have
I know
answered
why.
that
I
question.
tried to.
That's why
We
I'm
started
not
We have
arguing. We
defending
started
answered
arguing
that
about what
question
Wait a
in
minute,
Detroit
hold
every
on.
post-game analysis that we did for those games.
No, we don't.
answered that
That's
question.
a lie. No, we don't. We don't do it.
He didn't.
We
We
don't
didn't
do
have
it.
good play calling.
No, I know why. I know why.
Turn
You're
up,
asking why
goddammit.
he faltered in the moment. Ask him. I can't speak for another man.
Ask me, Lou. I'll tell you why, bro.
Oh, we already
Go
know
ahead,
the
go.
answer to that, Fred. We already know the
Yeah,
answer to that.
hey, look, bro, look, man, look.
And
It's
saying
plain
he's
and
a
simple.
fraud is not an answer.
No, it
Not
wasn't going to be that.
give that answer.
It was.
Lewis.
No, he's not.
Anybody
It was
can just
not.
say, oh well, the reason Mike McDaniel falters against the good teams is because he's a fraud. That is the only answer we can give.
No, it's not.
Then tell
No,
us
it's not.
that why
Fred's
is
going
it
to
that
say it's
Mike
because of the
McDaniel
quarterback. That's
cowers
why.
in
Look,
those
He's going to say
situations?
it's because of the
Tell me.
quarterback.
I'm
That's why.
Tell me why he
look.
cowers in those
Listen
situations.
to.
Go ahead, Fred. I
I'm
want to
going
hear
to. I'm going to.
He
I'm going
might
to
be
tell
close
you.
to what he might say.
Look,
Yeah.
look. I'm going to tell you exactly why. And please, man, be open minded. You know what I mean? Don't be making jokes with me and shit like that. But just hear me out. Now, the reason why is, man, the teams that are beating us are the ones that are in our face and just mauling us. What I mean by mauling us is putting hands on wide receivers, and our timing is thrown off, man. It's just thrown off.
That has nothing to do
That's
with
why.
McDaniel. That has
That's
to do with
why
the players.
I'm gonna tell you. Yes, it does. So McDaniel, what more can the man do? If your wide receiver can't even get off the line of scrimmage,
I'm asking
what
you that
more can
question.
McDaniel
What can
do,
Mike
bro?
McDaniel do?
What can he do, bro? It's
I'm
not
asking
even.
you the question. You said
I'm-
you had the
He can
answer.
run the
Okay,
doggone ball.
listen. This is what he's going to have. It ain't nothing he can do. It's for the wide receivers.
Run
They have
the
to be able to
ball.
get
Run
free.
the rock.
Again,
Run
They
the
have to
rock.
be able.
your answer to
Look,
Lewis's question
We
was
haven't.
can't do nothing, Lewis. Hold
I
on.
told you why. I told you why.
Answered
We're
Lewis's
being.
question. You answered Lewis's question. Lewis, Fred is on record as saying there's nothing he can do.
That's right.
And there's no reason for it.
That's right. It's
So then
nothing.
why is he a head
McDaniel.
coach then?
I don't
It's-
agree
it's-
with that. I
Why
don't
is
even
It's
he?
agree with
nothing-
Why
the
is he a
answer.
head coach
it's-
then if he can't do
Then-
anything?
It's nothing.
Then what-
It's nothing. Listen. It's nothing McDaniel can do. It's going to be on the players, man. They're going to have to find ways to get free of these fucking jams and get into these routes. You know what I'm saying? It's not
right,
McDaniel can draw it the fuck up all he wants, man. But if you can't get off the
I
line,
want to hear some other
I
answers.
want to
I want to
put
hear
the
some
stat
other
out here
answers.
right
to
now.
Lewis's
okay, go ahead.
Crypto, can we hear some other answers to Lewis's question?
Yeah, Alex, go ahead.
Because I'd like to hear a valid
Hold
answer
on.
to it. And if Lewis
I
would
wanna-
like to offer
it's
his
not- it's
opinion
not- it's
on
not an
why,
answer.
Yeah,
to Lewis's
hang on.
question.
Yeah,
If you
Alex is about to give it.
I'm not gonna.
what he
I'm not
think
gonna
the
answer. I'm not gonna
is.
answer. I'm not gonna. I don't know what the answer would be for that. But I'm gonna put a stat out there real quick, okay? Of this winning team bullshit. Okay, that everybody wants narrative wants to put out there. Of the 43 Super Bowl champs, only 9 have ever faced a regular season schedule of 500 or better. Those include the previous mentioned Steelers and Giants, as well as the 98, 88 49ers, 80 Raiders, 91 Redskins, 96 Packers, 1990 Giants, and the 2006 Colts.
Anytime, Lewis.
You going back too far, bro. We talking about this year, man.
Lewis just came up here and told everybody he was done hearing all that, Alex, and he posed a fair question. And I'd like people to answer the question.
I think.
Well, he's trying to debunk it with a.
I want to answer that real quick.
Here's the question again: why is it that Mike McDaniel seems to cower in those big moments to the better above 500 teams?
Exactly.
I think he gets too cute.
Right.
I think he gets too cute with his play calling. That's why.
Thank you, Alex. You answered
Okay,
the
he
question.
gets too cute for his play calling.
People can disagree, but you answered the question. Appreciate that. Anybody else would like to offer an answer?
And he overthinks it.
And
he overthinks himself.
Can I chime in here real quick?
Yeah, go ahead.
Can I chime in real quick?
We want your expert advice, Ian. We want your expert advice.
Well,
these are all things we said in post-game analysis of those games. Go ahead, Ian.
Come on, I want to hear the legend talk.
Listen. I've had this conversation privately. So I just think, listen, and I'm not giving McDaniel a pass. Those numbers, whatever the statistics are, I think it's 2-9 or 2-7 or something like that against, upper tier teams. We want to see that kind of, we want to see that number reversed, start to get reversed at some point. And he does deserve criticism, but I just think Mike McDaniel is obviously he's a second-year coach, right? And I think a lot of the fan base are not really taking into account, like, learning how to win, right? That's a skill that you have to develop, right? And the only way you do that with time and repetition. And I just think, a lot of people look at the talent level on the team and they wonder why we're not getting better results. But listen, Andy Reid who now is considered the best coach in all of football, surefire he's a lock to go in the Hall of Fame, first ballot, right? And he is the gold standard of head coaches in the league right now. If you go back and research his early in his career, he had talented teams. He did a phenomenal job of acquiring and developing talent, but it took him a long time to figure out how to win. And that's a skill, like running a route, like speed, like weight, like strength. It's a trait. It's a skill that you have to develop. You have to learn. And I just think Mike McDaniel. Hang on, Lou. Hang on, real quick. So I just hang on. I'll land in a minute. I just think Mike McDaniel is just, again, in terms of his status as a head coach, he's on that developmental cycle and he's learning his way how to win, especially against stiffer and better competition.
But it has nothing to do. See, again, this is where the conversation changes. It's not against stiffer competition. Take your competition out, because we played lesser teams that I wouldn't say were better than us. They just had winning records. Those are the games he's losing. And take the opponent out. It doesn't matter. It could be the Giants last year, for all I care. If they have a winning record, they're losing. And this narrative about Andy Reid, that's what I wanted to stop you right there, Ian, when you brought him up. Are you talking about the ultimate goal of winning Super Bowls? Because I would tend to agree with you. But no, Andy Reid.
No, he did not. No, Andy Reid could not. Andy Reid
Philadelphia first. Let's not forget
when he was first. Exactly. In Philadelphia,
he was winning though.
The man
he was
championships.
NFC championship game.
Before he got to that point, there was a struggle there.
Stop.
That's facts. What do you mean?
Struggle. It was
Bro,
very short.
There was people questioning whether McNabb
exactly, bro.
Shit.
I mean, okay, Crypto, you said the struggle wasn't long. Well, this is Mike McDaniel's second year. Second fucking year, and y'all up here whining about that. Come on, man. Look, listen.
Let's not act like Flores didn't get his act together his second year from a rebuilt team.
Mike McDaniel has more talent on these last year, this year and a half, Ian, that you said, than any talent he had in Philadelphia. And that's a fact. That is a
I don't.
This team than Brian Flores had in his first 2 years.
Okay, well the most talented teams don't always win. Who was the more talented team 1 through 53 added the two teams that played in the Super Bowl last year between the Eagles and the Chiefs? Who was the more talented team?
The Eagles.
Okay, then. Well, just because you got the most talent, don't guarantee you wins, bro. You got to figure out. You got to figure out how to perform.
If they played them best out of 7, you know the Eagles will win.
They were in the Super Bowl. I don't care.
The
man was in the Super Bowl. Who cares?
No. Bro, what are you talking about? Who cares? They didn't win. Nobody's gonna fucking
the Philadelphia Eagles with Nick Sirianni, the first press conference that man ever had. They were killing that man. Dog, he's a dumbass. He don't know nothing. He don't know. That man took his team to the playoffs the first year, lost to Tampa Bay in the wild card weekend. The next year, he took that same team to the Super Bowl.
Okay, that's 3 years. That's a 3 year window, right?
This is his third year. The man
was
his first year.
So didn't Mike McDaniel go to the playoffs his first year?
And you know what?
Yeah.
This is what I'm saying.
I'm asking you. I'm using your words. Hang on.
Do it again in a better way than we did last year.
I'm using exactly what you just said. You just highlighted first year playoffs, second year. What he got back? The second year Super Bowl. Okay,
right.
So Mike McDaniel's on that same pace, bro.
And last year, were the Eagles beating winning teams with winning records on their way to the Super Bowl?
They was destroying winning teams, not only beat them. He was clobbering those teams.
Lewis, this is where I had an issue earlier. Any of the people that did the deep dive and crunched the numbers to find out that Mike McDaniel has only had 2 wins against above 500 teams, did they bother to go look to see who the Eagles played last year? No, they didn't. That's my point.
We just went through that exercise just a few seconds ago.
Last year,
we have a lot of teams with winning records.
Okay,
that include the Cowboys twice, the Vikings, the Giants.
Right, I'm talking about the person that went and researched the 2 wins. Did they do that homework before they spit out this record?
I'm just saying that the Eagles actually did.
Certain light.
I don't know who did the homework. I don't know who came up with those stats. All I know is I'm rooting for my team, and I have to come out here every week and defend my team. And I brag about the 70 points that we laid out on a team, and I do. Well, again, that just shit. If we're gonna be honest, that shit doesn't translate against teams with winning records. Is all I'm saying. It doesn't translate for whatever reason. It doesn't show up.
It hasn't is a better word in my opinion.
Okay, and that's what I'm saying. It hasn't. That's what we're talking about. It hasn't. And all I
but
know
it has translated to a significant and obvious difference in the way we're winning as opposed to last year. There is a stark difference, and nobody wants to acknowledge it because the W's haven't come against the Chiefs, the Eagles,
you
and the
don't
Bills.
think us going up 30-0 against the Houston Texans, we had a chance to put up 60 on them until our guard and tackle got hurt, is the reason why we didn't put up 60 on them. We would have put up more than 50 points on a bad team like we did 70 this year. Then we was on pace to do that against the Texans last year.
But we were also down 14.
That's one team.
We were also down 14.
Yeah, that's one team, but we didn't put up 70 on another team this year.
We were down to the Chicago Bears for the first quarter and a half of the game. Okay, we almost lost to the Ravens because they destroyed us for 3/4 of a football game. Okay. I don't understand.
Yeah, we almost lost to the Ravens. We had that game this year. We almost lost to the Chargers.
I'm just going to say
I don't think that's the strength you want to bring up, Color.
You're right, Color. We almost lost to the Ravens. We had that game this year. We almost lost to the Chargers.
It's different than it was last year, bro. When I'm sitting there watching us down 14-0 against the Panthers this year, I went and got something to drink. I wasn't squirming in my chair like
Detroit last year when we went down to Detroit. When Detroit had the same identical record as the Panthers had, basically.
But right there, when you and I would agree with Color, right? When we were down 14-0 to the Panthers, I did the same thing. I went to the bathroom and I got a drink. But when we were down 21-0 to the Chiefs, I didn't feel that same way.
That's because they're the Chiefs. Not
Okay,
because
and that's what I'm saying.
we
You gotta
power,
start turning
but
the
because
corner.
they're the
All I'm saying,
Chiefs.
You keep saying we were down way too much.
all I'm saying is,
Turn up,
None of the
Color.
Chiefs is
Turn
an
up.
animal.
no,
Turn
fuck
up,
all
Color.
that. Yeah, fuck all that. All I'm saying is
That's the
I'm
defending
looking
Super
sideways.
Bowl champions,
I don't give
bro.
a fuck who it is. I got my eyes looking sideways on Coach Mike McDaniel. That you wanted me to, y'all motherfuckers have been pushing me all night to
Fair
come on and
enough,
say it.
bro.
I'm
Fair
gonna say it.
enough. Fair enough.
This motherfucker has
Bro,
to
you're
start
entitled
winning
to that,
games.
man. You're entitled to that.
Again,
The
well,
man
but
has
then people shouldn't get
the
mad.
man ended the season
People,
last year with a
I don't give
lesser
a
winning
damn how he
percentage
ended
than
the
his
season this year.
predecessor. So
The
you're
fact of the matter
absolutely
is,
warranted.
right. I know. So trust me, I know I'm 100% correct. The fact of the matter is,
Warranted.
he has
I
to
don't
do
think
better.
correct, but warranted.
No. Oh, no, I'm correct. We're talking about, again, we'll say we're factually correct about numbers, but when we talk about probabilities, those are facts. No, probabilities are just numbers that people want to spew out. That shit changes because if Miami Dolphins keep losing, the probabilities go down. It doesn't matter what the probability is this week into 3 weeks from now. That shit don't fucking matter. The facts are that Mike McDaniel has to do a better job coaching.
In that case, the moment we get to 9 wins with this 3 losses, we have eclipsed our track record from last year. In other words, the path we were on last year would be eclipsed at that point because we started to fail at 8-3. We're 6-3 now. If we get to 9-3, it's different. And you can't argue that it's not different anymore.
Can we just?
We were trying to say from day one. It's the same as last season until we make that eclipse.
I could argue that he has to do a better job of coaching in this aspect because, again, if we got a coach that you're telling me can beat up on all these lesser teams or teams without winning records, right? Because, okay, cool. Then I'm on board and people got me sold. And the fact of the matter is this team doesn't show up when the lights are the brightest. When the spotlight is on, or we all can feel in the fan base and the organization and just everywhere that, oh my God, this team is about to turn the corner and stuff. They shoot us, they let us all down. And I'm tired of defending the shit. We didn't do this shit with Brian Flores. Brian Flores had nowhere near the teams that we had last year and this year. And we won 10 games and 9 games. But
Brian
now that
Mike
McDaniel goes to Tua Tagovailoa's house and has barbecues and he slaps asses and kisses every baby in the interview, we all love him, so we give him a pass. And all I'm saying is, me, the Rabid Dolphin, I'm looking at him sideways. I know you're better than the New York Giants and the Carolina Panthers. Start beating teams with meaning, with substance. Because we always complain, well, it's just a narrative. We don't like the word narrative. We don't like we're frauds. We are frauds, goddammit. We are. Like, what are we talking about here? We have to beat a motherfucking team with no substance. But we sit up here like we AFC championship contenders and Super Bowl contenders.
No, I think that's too harsh a word. I think that's too harsh a word.
Good night, guys. Can I just jump in real quick?
Are you a little queasy with the word? What about pretenders?
Yeah,
a better word. Pretenders.
I mean,
we pretenders.
I mean, frauds. That to me, when you use the term fraud, fraudulent, whatever, that makes it look like this team is not a playoff bound team or a playoff worthy team.
No, you could be playoff worthy. You could be the Cowboys of the yesteryear or the Bengals of yesteryear with Marvin Lewis. They make playoffs every year.
I feel like the more appropriate term is, if you feel that way, right, is that we're just not Super Bowl contenders. But fraudulent to me means that you don't even have a team worthy to make a playoff run.
So if I may
still be a pretender, but not a contender.
How about we
Would
just
you
put
agree
up
with
a
that,
good
Ian?
So for first of all,
I would agree with that.
Good night to everyone. I've been listening. I'm trying to be the
good front.
I'm just trying to be the mediator here, man. So I've listened to everything, and Color. First of all, Color brought up a fantastic point about 12 wins is a playoff team, and it really doesn't matter if we are a fraud or not. And I've listened to Lewis just now, which really got me cooking. What is happening here is, and I've really done some thinking about this. This thing with the 700 throws, what has happened here, and I noticed Lewis said it's all fun and games when he's making Tua, bringing the best out of him and believing in him as though someone else didn't. And so this 700 throws to me is something that is keeping our team in a cage. Why I say that is because not because of the off script stuff. Tua can do off script stuff. What I'm saying is he's becoming Joe Flacco, guys, and it is what it is, and I don't know how you guys.
Bro, what
Yeah.
conversation?
What are you talking about? What are you talking about?
Him and his to finish it up quick. Him and his 700 throws are becoming a quarterback that the defense.
Hold on. Color
No one's talking about the quarterback.
God damn, Sharif!
Listen,
I told you. Now, see, I told you not to come up here with that
y'all
foolishness.
Y'all wouldn't even let a person finish, man. I mean,
they ain't gonna let you finish, Sharif.
I mean, man, I listened for a whole hour, and these dudes won't even let me
silence
finish.
this man. I will not be associated with this speech right now, EM, just so you know. I have to say it very clear.
The 700 throws, to break it down quickly and not to ramble on.
Sharif, it's the main problem, bro. It's the main.
Hey,
It's the
that's
main
not the
problem,
question at hand, Sharif. We're talking
No,
about.
it's not a question.
not-
So a brother doesn't have a chance to talk about his team too. I must just listen and not.
Sharif, go ahead.
Why am I on the panel?
Go
ahead,
Okay, so
Exactly.
my 2 cents is that this 700 throws that McDaniel is so high on is causing us to be a sitting duck quarterback. Okay, it's all well and good in the system of everything is blocking and you can get the ball off. What I'm seeing, regardless if we win 12 wins, if Tua does not win games with his feet and don't and avoid 3 of 10s on third down, that's when I see the 700 throws is causing us to be in a cage where he's looking like Joe Flacco.
Now, see, Sharif, I asked you nicely not to come up here with no foolishness. I asked you nicely not to come up here with no foolishness, Sharif.
If I'm a defender,
Sharif, I can't believe you, bro.
Will he run? Yes or no, EM? Will he run if you're a defender?
We've seen him do it. So you're telling me that? So you're saying you've never seen him do it in his 4 years, going on four.
Will he run? Will he run?
You've never seen him do it. You've never seen him do that in 4 years.
Defender, will he run?
No. I'm asking you. I'm asking you, Sharif.
No, don't put it on. I'm asking you.
No.
Do you believe he will run? And if you're saying no, that's my point. That's all I'm saying, bro.
Absolutely, he'll run. But so obviously,
no.
We just haven't.
Is he a pocket king?
I wish I had.
He can run.
See, I wish I had access to that guy.
Or a runner. What is he?
I wish I had access to that goddamn. Hang on, Fred. See, I wish I had access to that goddamn mute button right now. Because this shit is fucking ridiculous, Sharif.
You wouldn't even answer my question because you know what I'm doing.
I said yes.
Okay. So if you know he won't run because he's acting like a sitting duck in the 700 throws. He's acting like a sitting duck in the 700 throws.
Bro.
Hey, Sharif, we got to stay on topic. We understand you think Tua's a problem, not running.
Not Tua. The problem is in his 700 throws in the system, I guess, what they're doing.
So you blame Mike McDaniel for us not going anywhere.
Because Tua, I'm asking you as defenders, all of you are defenders. Will Tua run in your mind?
Absolutely, he'll run. What are you talking about?
Oh my God,
So you mean to tell me hang on, crypto. So you mean to tell me in all the 4 years that he's been the quarterback here, you've never seen Tua go out script and go out of structure, make plays with his legs? That's what you're telling me.
Back on me. What I'm saying, my point is, and I'm guessing.
What is your fucking point? What is your fucking point?
What I said. In the 700 throws and this thing that McDaniel has created, he's become Joe Flacco. Now I ask you as defenders in this room, you're still cutting me off, and then you're asking me what is my point. So if your defenders in this room, on this show, on this panel, and you know he won't run, then what the hell is McDaniel doing with a quarterback who's become Joe Flacco? If you're defenders and you know he won't run.
But
That's
he
my
have
point.
run. He has run already.
I didn't ask you that, though. I asked you if you are defenders in 2023, do you believe he will? And you all don't. So that tells me this system of 700 throws is making him Joe Flacco.
Don't put me in that. No, Tua can make plays with his legs. Tua can make plays with his legs.
I know he can, but is he in this system? The system is making him Flacco.
Why do you keep? No, explain to me why.
If you disagree, fine.
So you mean to tell me Mike McDaniel was telling him deliberately when they're in the meetings, right? When they're watching the film,
and they're get the ball off.
They're going over a play. You mean to tell me he's telling him, hey, look at that 8 yards of green grass you got in front of you. Don't run, Tua. Stand there and wait and get hit and get knocked. Stand there and get knocked the fuck out, Tua, and wait. You mean to tell me he's telling him, stop, bro? You sound foolish, Sharif. This shit is fucking ridiculous.
I'm saying, if route concepts aren't developed by 2.6, he looks dumb these days. Mm-hmm. Really, he looks dumbfounded these days when we know the ability that Tua really has. All I'm saying is when the 2.6 seconds come and they jam Tyreek and they jam Jalen, your 700 throws now is you're Flacco now. You see what I'm saying? You don't see that? Okay, it's my opinion.
No, I don't. I'm sorry. No.
That was horrible.
All I know is Tua throws 3 touchdowns every 45 times he throws the ball. So if we're throwing 40 plus times in a ball game, we're likely going to win that game.
And once again, when we play a playoff team, which really the argument, I understand Lewis's argument, but it doesn't matter to me because I've seen teams beat nobodies and go 9-7 and win Super Bowls. So I mean their schedule, they beat nobodies and lost to the big teams and still won Super Bowls. So I get what you're saying, Lewis.
Anomaly,
but
Green Bay was an anomaly.
Well, how about it happenly?
Seattle
3 times.
Seattle.
I mean,
I think Seattle did it twice.
No, Seattle won like 14.
I just hope that in this 700 throws that he's doing in this system, you better get that ball off in 2.6, McDaniel, because the guy looks shitty after that. After that, he looks like shit. And plus the crowd noise. We still got to talk about that and getting off your concepts and then allowing Tyreek, the offensive line, to shoot their signals in a hostile environment. And then Tyreek can finally motion. Because 3 things has to happen before a snap and on the road. You have to get that call in, right? Then you have to have 14 seconds to let the line give the signals. And then now you can motion and do your sharp motion or your quick motion or your cheat speed motion. If you can't do none of that, now you're getting jammed because you're gonna have to basically go vanilla. See, all 22 reveals. I need to stop watching all 22 because when I watch the all 22, it reveals to me more than the common fan. Yeah,
no, you need to. No.
It reveals to me more than the common fan, obviously.
Actually, it's because of Chrome. I got the notification saying that Sharif is specifically is going to get echoes because of the browser he's using.
Yeah, you got to use earbuds if you're using Chrome on Android right now. You have to use earbuds.
Yeah, my AirPlugs are in. Let me try. Here we go. Yeah, so. I hope my
I'm still hearing that I'm still hearing that echo. I'm still hearing that goddamn echo from Sharif. Yeah, back out, Sharif, and come back in. Maybe that'll solve the problem. Don't let that nigga come back up here, y'all. Crypto Color. Don't let him come back out. Put his ass in the chat.
Bad man. You are so bad, bro.
Put his ass in that goddamn chat and leave him there.
You're just bad, man.
I think you needed to.
All I know,
teach you a lesson.
It's funny. It's funny when we don't beat good teams. people get in their feelings because they call us frauds, or the narrative is we can't beat good teams, right? But when we beat up on all these trash teams, we can sit here and brag that we put 70 points on somebody.
No,
We
I
beat all
said
the.
I
We beat
said
all.
give them
I didn't
40
say you.
back.
I didn't say. You see again. I didn't say you.
All right. Well,
I
I'm
said
part of
I think
we.
it's. I think it's funny though how we're not frauds because the national media has us wrong, but we're contenders by all of us because we beat up on nothing but trash. I just where ain't that hypocrisy?
Well, no.
Like,
Wait a minute.
Yeah, by
Supposing,
definition, it would be hypocrisy.
hold on. When I'm speaking about being contenders, I'm speaking supposing, of course, this is subjective and predictive. Supposing we do get our 12-win season, I'm not going to be sitting here looking at us as frauds because all 5 of those losses came against contenders. Now we're 6-3.
Well, you would have to
right
change
now
the narrative
we're
by beating them in the
6-3.
playoffs.
Okay, and that's fine.
And what I'm saying is right now. What I'm saying is hold on. Right now we're 6-3. Now there may be some seasons where everything is so clear that you could argue, all right, it's time to. You could already call a 6-3 team a fraud. But in this season, where you've got big teams losing to bad ones losing to good ones losing to good ones, and whatever else, bro, 6-3 midway through the season, nobody gets the fraud label. Nobody.
And I'm not calling them frauds yet. I don't know how many times I got to come up here on this panel today and say I don't believe.
No, you just said frauds. You just said we were.
Those teams beat us, so they would disqualify them.
Lewis would like us to beat strong teams. That's, I think, with Lewis.
You know what? I think everybody just speaks when I'm speaking wants to say what the fuck I'm saying. I said I would agree with Color's last statement. If our 5 losses come against, let's say, 5 upper echelon teams, I would agree. I wouldn't consider us frauds, right? Because you're playing good teams. So I get that narrative. But if, to Color's point as well, if we have 12 wins and all those wins come against trash, then I'm not saying we're contenders neither. You see what I'm saying?
Well, fair enough, because at that point, fair enough, because at that point, I do too, because at that point, you've got to lock it in with a playoff win. Absolutely. Because the thing of it is, Lewis, in this last stretch, what if we beat, let's say, the Ravens, okay, and lost to a bad team, and that was part of our 5 losses? And then we go lose a playoff game. Are we frauds? Well, we beat the Ravens.
You beat the Ravens and got yoked by the Jets.
No, with this kind of talent, you would just erase what you did against the Ravens by losing in the playoffs.
I'm just saying that the 5 losses we're all assuming that are going to come to upper echelon teams. But what I'm saying, here's a scenario. What if we beat 2 of the upper echelons, we lose to 2 of the bad ones, and still end up with 5 losses? Or like, we lose to 2 of the upper echelons, and that's it. I'm sorry. We lose to 2 bad teams, but beat all the upper echelons left. We're 12-5. Now we've lost to bad teams and good teams, but we've also beaten 2.
That means he would have beaten the Ravens and the Jets and the Bills.
You see what I'm saying?
4 wins.
Hold on, Sharif, because that's the track the Buffalo Bills are currently on right now. Yet nobody is out there, national media, local media, Dolphin fans. You got Dolphin fans out there sucking Bill's dick, bro. Nobody's calling them frauds.
Why are we worrying about the Bills?
I'm not worried about them.
He's explaining a point.
Oh, my God. You guys cannot separate the debate between whether we're frauds or not, whether we should be called frauds, or who's doing it. Like, seriously.
I've been followed you from an hour and a half ago, though, with that. I agree with you.
Somebody telling me, like they have in chat tonight, G-Man, okay, that he's a realist, but saying we're frauds, that doesn't even compute to me.
Because
nothing is real midway through the season.
To guarantee the guys like G-Man not call us frauds?
That's my point, Crypto. If we beat 2 upper echelon teams or to teams, and the last 2 losses we get come to bad teams, does that change anything?
I don't know, though. Whatever his definition is of what the fraud is.
And if
the point about bringing up 70 points against a bad team is not to brag about it. It's to say that there's a difference. That, yeah, while we only beat a bad team, we did it better than everybody else did.
But Color, don't forget you said
yes, we did, but
you beat a
Kansas
fraudulent team if you're Kansas City, Philly.
Like that last year.
Hold up, Crypto.
Keep throwing arguments at me of stuff that I'm not arguing against. Keep throwing stuff I agree with at me. Okay, go ahead. Keep giving me the stuff I agree with.
If Philly, Kansas City, and Buffalo, right, beat a fraudulent team, then who are they, right? They beat a fraudulent, quote unquote, fraudulent team. Who are they? Right, so that means
that's what I'm saying.
That means we're a lower echelon team. Don't brag about beating us. Don't brag about beating 6-3 low fraudulent echelon Dolphins. Why are you bragging about that?
Well, Sarif, that's the point I made.
You can't have the cake and eat it too. Is what I'm saying about the NFL.
That's the same thing we level at Buffalo.
So if we beat Buffalo,
we have a Dolphin fan in chat right now saying that Buffalo owns us.
No, what really matters is why is ESPN not saying the fraudulent Dolphins got beat by better teams, but the better teams beat a team that's not for real. So why take the Dolphins?
What I'm saying, Crypto, is there's a person in chat that's defending his opinion that we're frauds by pointing out our comparison to the Buffalo Bills. That is a fraudulent comparison.
No, what he's trying to say, what I guess he's trying to say is by us calling them frauds and us losing to them makes us frauds.
That's my point. It's further stupefying the whole damn thing. That's all
That's why Dolphins fans can't get away with calling and leveling the Bills frauds, because it makes us look even more stupid.
I don't care what makes me look stupid. Nobody is going to sit here and tell me that and brag about beating.
Nene wants you to drop the link.
Nobody's going to sit here and brag to me about beating a good team and then turning around in the same sentence and calling that team a fraud. You can't have it both ways.
That's what I was saying. You can't have the cake and eat it too.
I think more so it's the Dolphins fans that are trying to have it both
ways,
to be honest.
And I'm not even saying we're not frauds. What I'm saying is if we qualify as frauds this season, not the last 5, not what everybody's done, not bringing it to the table, okay, none of that. But this season, if we qualify as frauds, then so do the Bills. That's all I'm saying.
And Philly and Kansas City shouldn't be so happy of the wins against us because we're frauds. So you beat a lower echelon team. Don't brag about stopping Tyree.
Don't start bringing up what Josh Allen has done to upper echelon teams last year because you won't let me bring up last year.
All right. Here we go. Hey, just keep in mind we gotta wrap this. We gotta wrap this up by in about 15 minutes. So go ahead. What's going on, G-Man? The Dolphins.
Hey, did you drop the link?
Hey, what's up, Shake Money?
Hey, what's up, guys? Thanks for letting me on the show.
Is that G-Man? Dude, you're an hold on. I want to say you are very honorable for coming up here right now. I just want you to know that. I respect the ever-loving hell out of you, bro.
Don't worry about it. I know what I'm talking about. Listen, the reason why this team is a fraud, I'll explain it really quickly. The offense is a gimmick offense that doesn't travel well on the road, can't handle crowd noise, and they're just soft.
As of yet.
No, as of 2 years, I've seen it for 2 years under McDaniel. We got smoked by San Francisco last year. We got smoked by the Chargers last year. It's a trend. If you don't see the trend, I can't help you.
So you're simply saying it's a psychological problem that we cower in those situations. That's what you're saying.
I'm saying the offense doesn't travel well. You know what travels well? A power running game with a nasty offensive line.
Okay, but we've been leading the league in rushing all season. How do we not have a power running game?
Because you can't get the tough yards when it matters. They run everything to the outside.
Color, I think you might have to close your other phone, Color.
And
you have
that may
another.
be true.
Everything we do is trickery and misdirection, tosses, pitches. That shit doesn't work in the playoffs in bad weather. No chance, bro. You think you're going to toss the ball around and do end arounds and reverses in January?
No, I don't.
Okay, but that's what McDaniel likes to do. That's his offense.
Okay, likes to do and has the ability to do are two different things.
Okay, I understand what you're saying. They're not built for playoff football. They're built for regular season. That's it.
Much better now. Yeah.
Reason why I always make the comparison against the Bengals of yesteryear with Marvin Lewis and freaking Tony Romo. That's why I always bring those two teams up. They was masterful in the regular season. They never played in the West Coast.
And I simply say that there are indications this year that have convinced me to disagree with you. And that's I've laid out those reasons. People don't agree with those reasons, but I can't make up new ones. So I'll just leave it at that. You know what I mean?
They need nasty offensive linemen and a power back.
Well, the thing is, G, I appreciate you coming up number one, because when people come up who have disagreements with the host,
it's a very rare thing for somebody to troll in chat and actually
guys
come up
in the
bro.
comments.
I'm not
trolling, when you disagree with the host, you just come up, click the link, and substantiate.
Hold on, Sharif. Hold on, I misspoke. I didn't mean to suggest you were trolling. I'm saying that because you came up here, it shows that you're not trolling.
No, I haven't seen it. They haven't won squat. The Dolphins haven't won squat in my 42 years of watching them. So to be people
the
say
Big O syndrome.
Yeah, that's a longevity.
That's the Big O syndrome.
You need patience. 42 years is a lot of patience.
He ain't buying shit. I got you, but you're a Dolphin.
Hang on, Sharif. I want to also give Nene a chance to say what she needs to say about the matter.
But you understand the point I said about the offense.
Yeah.
Hey, can you guys hear me?
Yeah, we hear you.
Go.
I'm gonna try to land quickly. When I say I have a problem with the word fraud and narrative, I just wish y'all use different synonyms. It got to be another word to describe what y'all.
That's why I said pretender,
and
because that's what Marvin Lewis was great at, pretending. They destroy everybody in the regular season, and then they lay an egg in the playoffs. They were great pretenders.
Confused. I feel the same way, Nene, G-Man, Mr. Negative, Pete. I feel the same way you all do, bro.
I didn't finish what I was going to say.
Nene. I
just said like 5 words.
Back in. Sorry about that.
My whole thing is this. Two things can be true. Two things can be true. And I think both sides of the argument are so focused on their part of it, they're not coming in the middle in terms of just making this make sense. Let's be honest. We had a lot of people after we beat Denver predicted blowouts against Buffalo, Philly, and Kansas City. And once those predictions didn't come true, they changed the story. I'm not going to use narrative, Lord have mercy. And it's on recorded spaces. It's on YouTube. People got very cocky, just like our coach does sometimes, and get a little too cutesy-wootsy instead of just winning the game. That's my whole disposition is, let's just be honest. We're happy that we're getting better, but we still got to find ways to limit mistakes and win those games. I'm going to leave you with this. I was watching the Heat game, and Eric Reed made a quote about the Dolphins and the Florida Panthers, why both of those teams had championship runs. They didn't win, but they at least got to the championship game. You want to know why? Because in key moments, in key games, they found a way to win. And that's the only thing for me. I don't care about I don't care about beating up on teams that you're supposed to beat. Congratulations. We have now went to the next step in the maturation process of a contender. But I know when I came in spaces and I mentioned that all of the talent won't mean anything if we have injuries or if McDaniel's making bad coaching decisions. People fried me like a catfish in the summertime. And now that it's happening, it's like, oh, what about the Bills? Listen, I don't care none about all these other teams and what they're doing and what they're not doing. I only care about the Miami Dolphins. I will say this for the other side of it. You got to admit that we are improving. And I think it's okay. You can keep your comments about being optimistic if we're going to finish the job, but at least acknowledge that they're getting better. And I land my plane. I got papers to write. Crypto, you're a real one. Shake Money. What's up, Color?
What's up? What's going on?
Dude, I just want to say to that point, Nene, I just want to say that, you know, I that's all I've been trying to say. People don't even want to see that. What y'all are talking about being tired of the same old, I reserve that talk for the offseason. We're in the middle of a season right now. And to me, it shuts down the conversation just to bring up, oh, well, we haven't done this. And I'm sitting here going, well, as pertains to our chances and going forward this season, we have done this, and what we've done can indicate this. I'm not going to sit here and be like, oh, we scored 70 points on the Broncos, so that means we're going to lose. Like, what is that? It's not bragging about 70 points to say that putting 70 points on an NFL team means that, oh, we're going to lose the rest of our games? Like, really?
No,
you all put your money
I don't think
on that
nobody's
bullshit.
saying
I
that.
don't bet bad bets like that.
I don't think nobody said we go
No,
lose. It's just a matchup to
that's the
matchup.
opposite
It's
of
who
what-
you playing.
That's the opposite
Again,
of what I'm saying.
depends
I
on who you
think-
play the following week and what you did historically against them, not the team
the
that
offense
played
scored
them.
10 points against Philly.
What I'm saying is give back 40
Right,
points to the
G-Man.
Broncos.
That's why I kept
scored
on
7.
that.
1,000 times.
They
Give
scored 10
back
points against
40
Philly.
Points to the give back 40 points to the Broncos. We still win that game 30-20. And I'll ask again, how's that compare to the team that beat us, the reigning Super Bowl champions?
But
It don't need to because the reigning Super Bowl champions played us already to settle
back
that score.
40 points to the Broncos, and we still outperformed them in comparison to an upper echelon team.
But
No
Kansas
matter who
City
the
don't
team
give a
is.
damn what the Broncos did and failed against us. That's the whole point.
That's the
He
point.
played us head to head already to settle the score of being the two teams involved. They're not going back and say, "Oh, I don't feel good beating the Dolphins because they lost to the Broncos by 70."
You're shifting the argument to as to who is better, the Chiefs or the Dolphins. That's not the argument I'm
not.
making. I'm simply making an argument, okay, that bragging about 70 points is not what I'm doing. It's simply pointing out that we are not frauds. I don't care if we're better or not than the Chiefs. That's not what I'm trying to argue here.
But the last team that put up 70, I don't think they won the Super Bowl that year neither.
Hey,
Give
Color.
back 40 points to the Broncos.
Let me ask him this question.
And
'Cause
then
maybe
make the comparison.
Hold on. Maybe this is the problem. Color, what is your definition of fraud?
Fake.
A team that looks like something but really is something else.
Just Color, please, because he's very passionate about it. So I'm curious as to what is his definition when he hears the word fraud.
Hold on. Because we're not gonna do this because I'm not gonna sit here and give my definition of a 6th grade word. Okay, I'll just look it up so we can have a precise definition of the word fraud.
How about mirage?
Well, I mean fraud in terms of
Deceit.
That's
Hold on.
illogical.
Number one definition according to dictionary.com. It's a noun that means deceit, trickery, sharp practice, or breach of confidence perpetuated for profit or to gain some unfair or dishonest advantage.
Yeah, but what does it say in terms of sports use of the word fraud?
That is there's only 2 definitions of the word fraud listed.
ABAB, if the freaking
four.
squeaky
Hold on,
wheels
four.
gets the
Hold on,
goddamn
four.
grease.
Hold on, 4.
So
I'll read
everybody
all
on
4.
Twitter's bragging about it loudly. Then guess
read the
what?
last 3.
The squeaky wheel gets the
3.
goddamn grease.
No, hold on. Breach of confidence.
I love you, Color.
Complaining about it and bragging about 70 points.
Are you just going to yell over me?
Yes, because I'm trying to get the fucking ABAB's
yelling
attention.
over me so I can finish
No,
what
I'm
I'm saying.
not yelling. No.
Let me know when you're done yelling over me so I can finish what I was saying.
No, because I'm trying to get the attention of that numbnut in the crowd.
Okay. So that licenses you to yell and
I'm gonna
scream
go
over
back
me?
into the YouTube.
Absolutely.
Y'all have
Okay.
a blessed
Let me know when you're done. Let me know when you're done and I'm allowed to speak.
A goddamn
Let
narrative.
me know when you're done and I'm allowed to speak.
Everybody was yelling on Twitter. The freaking squeaky wheel gets the goddamn grease. If they're out there bragging about 70 points week in and week out, based on how Kansas City didn't do against them, then guess what? We played the goddamn Chiefs. We played the freaking Ravens. We played the freaking
definition of fraud.
Bills.
Still doesn't fit the definition of fraud.
I don't care what the definition of fraud is.
Then why ask? Why
that was Nene that asked. That was Nene.
Right. So Nene asked me, and while I was trying to answer, you just started yelling and screaming over me. So let me know when you're done so I can finish answering Nene.
I said yelling and screaming because your buddy ABAB is trying to gaslight people.
My buddy?
Or whoever's buddy it is.
I can't even see what ABAB's saying because I got him blocked. My buddy?
I don't care whose buddy he is.
See, this is how you like to cross the line, bro.
He's somebody's buddy because he's making unfactual gaslighting statements. And I'm sick of it.
No, okay, fine. I was sick of it.
People were sitting up there yelling and screaming about how we scored 70 points on the rest of the world and the rest of the universe.
Okay. When I blocked him, when he fucking got me frustrated to the point of blocking him, I didn't hear none of you fucking standing up and yelling at him then. So I don't know what to tell you. It's ABAB, bro. Everybody loves him.
I know I do.
The point I was trying to make is the definition clearly ties this nefarious intentions to the word. It says, or breach of confidence perpetuated for profit or to gain some unfair or dishonest advantage, like the advantage over our pocketbooks. So if you're thinking that we're a fraud, just say you think we're a fraud. But don't sit here and tell me it's because we haven't beat the good teams yet.
We're not as good as the record says we are.
Classification. The true definition would be pretenders, pretending like it's something that you're not.
I disagree, but that's another story.
But that's
paper tiger,
right? It is. Paper tiger is a right adjective.
That's what they are right now.
That's a more appropriate adjective.
Until proven otherwise, they're paper tigers in my book.
Hey, that's your book. That's what's up.
And all I'm saying is,
well, what have they won lately, by the way, dude?
What has anybody won lately, dude?
We will.
The Chiefs. What have they won lately, dude?
What has Bills won lately, dude?
The Chiefs won 2 Super Bowls.
What has Bills lately won, dude? What has the Lions won lately, dude? What has Ravens lately, dude? So it ain't just the Dolphins, dude.
Somebody has to win, but it's never us.
Yeah,
there's a lot of teams that never win either, dude.
Well, it's 31
it's
teams.
Never
that
us.
don't win.
Oh well,
it's never 31 other teams either.
Exactly. At the end of the day, there's only one winner at the end of every season.
1973. That's
if you want to go. If you all want to go on this loose definition of fraud, hold on. If you all want to go on this loose definition of fraud,
never won.
There are only 2 teams in the last.
I can tell you. I can name some teams
that
that never won one.
And that would be the New England Patriots and the Kansas City.
Okay, then. So that's what we're talking about.
Those are the only 2 that aren't frauds.
I'm talking about the Dolphins, a prestigious franchise that hasn't done squat in 50 years.
Okay, and I said that's your book. Okay, that's if you don't if you think they're paper champions, that's your opinion.
It's facts. Look,
that's all. Whatever you want to say, bro. Whatever you want to say, whatever reality you want to live in, bro. That's if it's facts to you, it's facts to you.
Where are the Super Bowl rings hidden?
I don't know.
They ain't in Buffalo. They're not in Buffalo's
there
house.
aren't any.
I can tell you where they're not. I can tell you where they're not. They're not in Buffalo's house.
Who cares about Buffalo? God, why are you fascinated with Buffalo?
Because you think that they're the standard.
Exactly.
You obviously think they're the standard.
Yeah, exactly.
My apologies.
So why continue watching it then?
Dude, they undressed us.
That was
in
the
week
peanut
4.
gallery that got me. It was the peanut gallery that got me going.
So why do you
Nene,
keep
so
watching
that's the
then?
reason.
Why just say, hey, the season, if you think we're paper champions and we have no chance to win, why do you keep watching?
I watched to see if they can change the narrative, but deep down inside, this looks like the same team as last year. I don't care about Fangio or Ramsey. They still can't beat a good team.
Okay. We still have a chance to prove otherwise.
Yeah, we
Okay, well, let's see them do it. Let's see them go to Baltimore in December and beat the Ravens.
Okay, we'll see that.
Will?
With your gimmicky offense that likes to toss the ball around.
Yes, Nene.
It's not my gimmicky offense. If
Actually, I stay
it's
calm,
our
Nene. I'm
gimmicky
actually
offense.
calm. That was me on the level 1, Nene.
You're going to do ends arounds and sweeps and tosses in December in Baltimore. Good luck with that.
Yeah, that's called football.
Yeah,
that's
reach
called
arounds and
losing
reach arounds and reach arounds too. Don't forget the reach arounds.
How many turnovers does this team make? How many penalties? They're sloppy.
The king of the jet sweep and the end around played in Kansas City and won Super Bowls. Tyreek Hill. So don't give me this nonsense that we can't run an end around because it's cold out.
And you said power football. Advantage. You saw power football. Name one power running back the Chiefs had last year.
Power running back? Well, they don't need one because they have Mahomes. We don't have Mahomes. Far from it.
What and a power? You said no. You said we need a power running game in the and winter.
Let me explain. Let me explain football to you. When
I'm going to disagree with that. I think we have a quarterback that can run and throw.
When you're winning a football game, you need to run the clock out.
Sharif, you just spent an hour trying to prove he couldn't, that he was being held back.
We can't do that.
We did that against New England.
We can't impose our will.
I think the system is holding him back, Crypto. I think it's the system.
I'm sorry. That's just the way I see it.
See, my lie. Okay, tell me if my eyes are lying, Crypto.
First of all, it's a West Coast system, which was invented in the cold climate of where? Ohio.
George C.
Cincinnati, Paul Brown.
Ohio.
Yeah, Paul Brown. That was in the state of Ohio.
So there you go.
The home of brutal, wintry football.
Bro, if you think this offense travels well, you're fooling yourselves. Why do you think they lose every road game against a good team? What happens to that high power? What happens?
So when I say crowd noise, G.
Hey, by the way, we
say?
got to wrap. Real talk. We got to wrap this up in 5 minutes, man, because we got a show. We got our 2-year anniversary in 30 minutes at 9:30. So
All
we got to wrap this up in 5 minutes.
All right.
Go ahead.
Okay, my final thoughts.
Give your final thoughts.
Hey, G, man, the Dolphin. You're welcome here anytime. By the way.
So, man. Thanks for stopping by, man. For coming up.
You guys are right. The Dolphins are going to win every game from now on.
Yeah, I didn't say that either, but yeah.
I'll rise G man up.
I'll sign on.
I'll sign. Now that's some gaslighting right there, man.
From your
he's already learning, Crypto. He's already learning, man. First night on the panel, and he's already gaslighting, bro. He's learning.
From your lips to God's ears. All right, Sharif, go ahead. Let's wrap this up. Give me your final thoughts, because like I said, we got to wrap this up.
I'm encouraged about this defense. 65 hits on the quarterback. I think we're top 3 in the NFL. I think we can be able to give the ball back to our offense when up 14-0, meaning we start fast on offense. I think we're going to see a couple of weeks of starting fast. I'd like to get A-Chain back in the next game. I'd also like to let Robert Hunt sit this game out as well. So I'm cool with A-Chain coming back next week, not this week, with also Robert Hunt. And I think we're going to get ready, try to get Giddy up at the right time, which is week 13 on. Fins up.
All right, fins up, baby. What's up, Ali? I hope you're feeling better, my brother.
Thanks.
Hey, Ali.
Much, my friend.
Ali just came out the nightclub.
No. I've been
Ali.
Hold
you may
on.
have heard me going off about defending your guy. Your quarterback from Ohio. I don't know about CJ Stroud.
No.
CJ Stroud.
All good. It's all good. But I will take a victory lap. I did say CJ Stroud was going to have the best record this season compared to all the other quarterbacks that were drafted this past season. So I will take that victory lap. But I just came up. I'm not feeling very well, so I just want to get this off my chest real quick. I heard what G-Man had to say about our season and being frauds and stuff like that. Listen, all I'm going to point to is the 2013 Super Bowl winning Baltimore Ravens. Go check their regular season. They beat up on a bunch of 8-8 teams, did not win a single big game against a true contender that season whatsoever. They lost every big game they had during the regular season and still won.
I pointed that out. Yeah,
that's all I'm going to point out.
Couple of teams.
That's all I want to say. Fins up to the true Miami Dolphin fans
for sure
around here. And with that,
Ali just dropped the mic.
I'll see you guys in the back.
All right,
that's what you do, Ali. Just drop the mic on him, man. Stun on him.
I think it might have come by way of that ghost pepper coffee shipment. Shake. What do you think?
Probably. I hope he's feeling good, better though.
All
right, Sharif.
Like a Roman going into a cave.
You know, Dr. Pepper has a new flavor called Hot Takes. So try and pick it up with your.
All right. So y'all ready? Hey, ready to shut this down, Crypto?
Yeah.
I'm ready, about 10 more minutes.
What's your take, Shake Money? You know, I like your opinion.
Hey, I appreciate y'all stopping by.
I'm just a producer today. That's all I am. Nobody cares about my opinion. I'm just producing.
No, man. Without Shake, you don't have no money. Without the shake of the pepper, you have no money.
I'm just producing today, so that's all I'm doing. All right, guys. Y'all be safe. Fins up no matter what, baby.
Fins up, Eric.
Fins up.